each other out right now.
Yeah, because neither side can get their wing-backs involved in the game that much in terms of an attacking perspective, especially Brighton. I mean, Cucurella and Solly March have been playing more as full-back than wing-backs, really. They're just slotting there as the back five. I mean, barely seen much of Doherty coming forward. Reguilon's the only one, really, that's actually managed to get in an advanced position and into a place where he could put the ball in, but he hasn't. Yeah, like you said, they're just cancelling each other out. There's not a great deal of bite in that midfield either from Brighton. I mean, Basuma and Grosh, they barely put a foot in against Højbjerg and Bentancur. The two Spurs midfielders have had the bulk of the possession.
Yeah, just over 20 minutes gone. Brighton 0, Tottenham 0. As Trossard is fouled by Romero, who's had a couple of kicks already. Probably beginning to walk Rob Jones's tightrope. Just looking again, just steps in. There's very little in it really, but sort of kicks through the back of Leandro Trossard as Christian Romero. Someone in our office referred to him as a walking yellow card before the game, and I don't think we can disagree so far.
They did. I mean, I like Romero. I think he's a good defender. Like, yeah, a little bit rash at times. I have to say, the shake of the head there more for me was towards Trossard and just how easy he goes down. There's barely any contact on the back of him there, and he just falls to the floor.
Here is Trossard trying to get forward down the right-hand side. Plays a little ball infield for Pascal Gross, and now Lewis Dunk as the players transition from right to left. Cucurella, who just continues to hug that left-hand touchline, finding Basuma back for Duffy, and now Grosh again as they come back out to the right-hand side, and Veltman down the line into Trossard, who just about manages to wriggle away from Reguilon before going back to Veltman. And again, Brighton will go back to the halfway line. They're trying to control possession. Graham Potter, I'm sure, won't be too unhappy with what he's seen from his side so far. Yes, they haven't created much, but they've looked okay on the ball. They've begun to really assert themselves on the game in terms of take more of the ball in their possession. But so far in this game, it's been a tale really of neither side being able to create enough. Harry Kane's effort when he robbed Robert Sanchez and then dragged his shot wide, the best chance of the game so far, as Veltman plays a long ball forward left-footed, brought down by Neal Maupay, who didn't know much about it as he played the ball back to Leandro Trossard, who then attempts a 40-yard Hollywood ball from right to left that is really poor, but Yves Basuma does well, tracks the danger, wins it back for his side, and manages to get the ball back to his goalkeeper. It's crying out for a little bit of quality is this game at the moment, as Duffy will just turn out here and Brighton will try and create something once again. Not the start to the game that either side would have wanted, as Brighton in the box here may well create something. A little shot towards goal is deflected and Lloris won't be able to keep it in, so it will be another Brighton corner. Myself and James Mason sat here will be praying that this beats the first man, otherwise there's going to be a rant coming, as Trossard it was who wriggled away, got the shot off, Højbjerg blocked it, but Lloris was unable to keep it in play. So a corner then from the far side once again, Pascal Grosh to take, right-footed, in-swinging. I say this, it might be Alexis McAllister actually, who's gone across. It's not, it's Solly March, left-footed, out-swinging, with Duffy, Veltman, Dunk and Maupay all inside the 18-yard box. March, better delivery in towards McAllister, who heads it across goal. It will be brought down by Christian Romero, who has the ball played off him by Neal Maupay, so it will be a Tottenham throw-in. 23.5 minutes gone, independent, unofficial, off-tube, studio-based commentary, Brighton 0, Tottenham 0. I said that the game was crying out for some quality. James Mason, bring us some quality.
There we go. Very good introduction for me there, Jack. Thank you very much. But at least, like we said, at least that corner beat the first man, and you maybe feel Alex McAllister just mistimed his jump ever so slightly. There were a few bodies in front of him, and just when he seemed to jump up, the ball was already skimming across his head, so he couldn't get over the top of it and get the power that he wanted. But it's a little bit better. But in truth, this has been quite a poor watch, you'd say, for the opening 24 plus minutes now. You mentioned before Spurs going for potential Champions League. They've got games down on a couple of teams around them, but you look at this, and I'm not sure how Arsenal will play against Liverpool this evening, but you'd think when you watch Arsenal recently, they're a team that look as if they're trying for Champions League and top four, where Spurs, I mean, I watched them against Burnley when they lost. They were awful. Then they beat Man City before that, and they were great. it's as if they're getting up for the big games, but not for these what they may see as smaller games.
Yeah, I mean, the wins over Leeds and Everton were pretty impressive, but then I thought last week against Manchester United they did okay, but it felt like United were always going to win that game, and then they managed to get over the line and do it. As much as Tottenham huffed and puffed, that was sort of a game where both sides were reliant on individual quality, as a decent-looking ball from Bentancur will be taken by Sanchez. They just need to do something to Spurs. They need to have that little bit of fight and energy, and the only two players who drive them on in that respect are Kane and Son. And you were saying earlier about Kane drifting in and out of games. When he's not in a game, he'll all of a sudden pop up and play that wonderful pass for Son. But why is Harry Kane the player that's playing balls from sort of deep in the midfield up for Son Heung-min? It's because there's so little quality, or quality stepping up, in that Tottenham Hotspur midfield. And I think that's a big area that, yes, they've strengthened with Bentancur and Kulusevski. I think there's still a lot needed out of Spurs if they want to get anywhere near top four or a European place, because Wolves are ticking away nicely. West Ham keep playing well. Yes, they've lost Jared Bowen, I think, for a few weeks. But, their two sides, plus Manchester United in there, who keep just about getting results that are ahead of them that they have to try and get through. So it's not going to be easy for Spurs.
No, they've had good players in that number 10 spot, haven't they? Dele Alli, who sold to Everton, and Christian Eriksen, who went to Inter Milan, back at Brentford now. There's maybe a chance of Brighton here in the penalty area, and there's a shot comes in. Huge appeals for a handball there against, I guess, Doherty there potentially, as it was Alex McAllister who had the shot. The delivery does come in deep from the right-hand side. It's all the way out towards the far end of the pitch then, where Doherty is trying to get this ball clear, but he's into his own corner flag at the moment, penned in by Cucurella. Gets actually half a decent clearance then down the line. Dunk then, just comes across and heads it out of play there from Lewis Dunk. Will be a throw into Tottenham on that far right side of the field. To be honest, the shot came in from McAllister. I didn't think there was any arm or hand involved, and if it is, it's tucked into the side of the defender.
Yeah, well, I think it's a bit of a weird one, because it looks as though, as Bentancur, I think it is, who jumps in for it, I think as he slides, he leaves his arm behind him, and it just hits his arm. It did look like it hit his arm or his hand that was above his head, but he was on the floor at the time, so it's very, very difficult when you're slide tackling to slide with your arms by your side. So
should try it, see if you can do it.
But you know what I mean? It's a difficult thing to do, so just your momentum will leave one of your arms behind to then push you up again. It wasn't intentional. It's nothing more than that. We haven't seen a replay, which would suggest that there isn't a question to answer. Yeah,
we'll wait to see if a replay comes across, but to be honest, I can't imagine that there will be. It reminds me kind of you trying to slide tackle without your arms, like Chef Yakuchi's old celebration where he did the sort of the swan dive and just sort of went limp on the floor. That's kind of what it would be like. You would hit the ground pretty hard with the top of your body. Is Spurs at the moment trying to come forward down the right side with Kulusevski, but Cucurella does well, reads it, gets in front of his man and manages to get the free kick as well. As Kulusevski just going through the back of the Brighton wing back. You can't believe it, Kulusevski on the floor there. Kane has come over and had a word with the referee as well. But to be honest, Cucurella for me looked like he just read the play well. We'll see this again with the penalty shout. So yeah, the shot comes in, hits off Dyer, and then it is Bentancur who's sliding in. Nowhere near where the ball actually does hit Eric Dyer on his knee. I mean, it does hit the arm, but for it to be a penalty would have been extremely harsh.
I think it's one if he stood up and he's got his arm in that position and it hits his arm, then it's a penalty. But he's not going to be stood up with his arms in the air.
No, correct.
So it's one of those where I think it would have been incredibly harsh to give something like that. We don't normally see it when players are on the floor, that if the ball hits them, it's a penalty. It's very rare, actually, that we see it. So I think Rob Jones and the officials between them have made the right decision.
Yeah, whereas Brighton are actually just starting to nip in and win a few more challenges now as they get the ball on halfway. Now they're trying to drive down the right hand side with Trossard. Does well to get past Bentancur, then cuts back onto his left foot. Looking for options, just plays a short pass inside then to Grosh. Now back out to the right hand side for Solly-March. Onto his left foot, delivers a ball in. Doesn't beat the first man though, and it's headed into the path of Kane. And now Spurs will try and counter. And well, Kane nutmegs Basuma, but he had his teammate there, Basuma, to help out. Now it is the former coming forward, has a shot from good 20-ish yards out, flicks off the Spurs defender. I tell you what, it would have been going a mile wide anyway, and they get the second best thing, the very lucky thing, which is a corner.
Yeah, it looked like nobody really knew exactly what decision should be made there initially, but it was Eric Dyer who just sort of stuck a foot out and it's clipped off him. So right decision in the end from Rob Jones. And a corner, another opportunity. Brighton have had, I think this is their third corner so far, so they are beginning to impose themselves on the game. Spurs yet to have one. You would think that if Brighton keep getting good balls into the box, one of these will tell.
Yeah, I'll have to see what they can do. It is Grosh to take it on that far side. It'll be a in-swinging delivery with the right foot this time. Right arm goes up, down by his side, delivers it. It's high towards the far post. Better looking ball. It's nodded and flicked away by Dyer. Picked up though by Mope, just towards the right edge of the box. Plays it back down the line. Basuma then delivers one in. He's looking for Dunk, who can't get to it first. Dyer again heads it away. Basuma picks it up on halfway and goes all the way towards his goalkeeper Sanchez, who I'm sure won't be making the same mistake as not getting the ball away, although Kane is putting a little bit of pressure on. Eventually plays it long downfield, looking for Trossard. Headed away quite easily though. Now it's back towards Spurs' penalty area. Dyer just nods it into the path of Davies. Now with Reguilon back towards Davies, and well, they're not shy of trying to play out from the back of Spurs, and they've done a really good job now as Son lays it into the path then of Højbjerg. He finds Kane over halfway, tries to use his body to turn. Great play by Basuma again. And he gets the free kick as well because Kane pulls him to the floor. Brilliant from Basuma. You can see exactly why a lot of the top clubs in the Premier League and Europe are looking to buy him in the summer, and I would be massively surprised if he is still at Brighton come next season.
Yeah, he's a very tidy player, isn't he? Somebody who, when he first came to the Premier League, I really wasn't too sure on him because he would drift in and out of games, but he was a bit petulant and his passes weren't sticking. He'd pop up with a wonder goal every few weeks, but that was about it. Whereas recently, or the last sort of 12 months, he's really stepped up. He's begun to improve his work rate, which was a big thing that wasn't there initially. His passing range is good. He's still got the ability to score goals, but he also does that battling in the midfield, which is sort of a
Gabriel Martinelli on the wings, and Martin Ødegaard starts just behind Alexander Lacazette. As for Liverpool, Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago in a midfield three, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane are the front three. Kickoff is just round the corner. Kickoff is fast approaching at the Emirates Stadium for this huge Premier League encounter between Arsenal and Liverpool. Both teams come into this game on a terrific run of form. Arsenal are currently on a run of 5 consecutive wins and are looking to go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United with a win. Liverpool come into this game on a run of 8 consecutive league wins and are looking to close the gap on league leaders Manchester City to just 1 point. Team news then, and Arsenal have named an unchanged starting lineup for the 4th game running. As for Liverpool, they've named 2 changes from the side which beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-0 away from home at the weekend, with Thiago and Jota coming in for Keita, and surprisingly, Mohamed Salah has also been named on the bench. The lineups in full then for Arsenal: Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Cedric Suarez, Ben White, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka both start in midfield. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli on the wings, and Martin Ødegaard starts just behind Alexander Lacazette. As for Liverpool, Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago in a midfield three, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane are the front three. Kickoff is just round the corner. Kickoff is fast approaching at the Emirates Stadium for this huge Premier League encounter between Arsenal and Liverpool. Both teams come into this game on a terrific run of form. Arsenal are currently on a run of 5 consecutive wins and are looking to go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United with a win. Liverpool come into this game on a run of 8 consecutive league wins and are looking to close the gap on league leaders Manchester City to just 1 point. Team news then, and Arsenal have named an unchanged starting lineup for the 4th game running. As for Liverpool, they've named 2 changes from the side which beat Bull away from home at the weekend, with Thiago and Jota coming in for Keita, and surprisingly, Mohamed Salah has also been named on the bench. The lineups in full then for Arsenal: Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Cedric Suarez, Ben White, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka both start in midfield. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli on the wings, and Martin Odegaard starts just behind Alexander Lacazette. As for Liverpool, Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago in a midfield three. Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane are the front three. Kick-off is just round the corner. Kick-off is fast approaching at the Emirates Stadium for this huge Premier League encounter between Arsenal and Liverpool. Both teams come into this game on a terrific run of form of 5 consecutive wins and are looking to go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United with a win. Liverpool come into this game on a run of 8 consecutive league wins and are looking to close the gap on league leaders Manchester City to just 1 point. Team news then, and Arsenal have named an unchanged starting lineup for the 4th game running. As for Liverpool, they've named 2 changes from the side which beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-0 away from home at the weekend, with Thiago and Jota coming in for Keita, and surprisingly, Mohamed Salah has also been named on the bench. The lineups in full then for Arsenal: Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Cedric Suarez, Ben White, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka both start in midfield. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli on the wings, and Martin Odegaard starts just behind Alexander Lacazette. As for Liverpool, Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago in a midfield three. Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane are the front three. Kick-off is just round the corner. Kick-off is fast approaching at the Emirates Stadium for this huge Premier League encounter between Arsenal and Liverpool. Both teams come into this game on a terrific run of form. Arsenal are currently on a run of 5 consecutive wins and are looking to go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United with a win. Liverpool come into this game on a run of 8 consecutive league wins and are looking to close the gap on league leaders Manchester City to just 1 point. Team news then, and Arsenal have named an unchanged starting lineup for the 4th game running. As for Liverpool, they've named 2 changes from the side which beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-0 away from home at the weekend, with Thiago and Jota coming in for Keita, and surprisingly, Mohamed Salah has also been named on the bench. The lineups in full then for Arsenal: Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Cedric Suarez, Ben White, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka both start in midfield. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli on the wings, and Martin Odegaard starts just behind Alexander Lacazette. As for Liverpool, Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago in a midfield three. Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane are the front three. Kick-off is just round the corner. Kick-off is fast approaching at the Emirates Stadium for this huge Premier League encounter between Arsenal and Liverpool. Both teams come into this game on a terrific run of form. Arsenal are currently on a run of 5 consecutive wins and are looking to go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United with a win. Liverpool come into this game on a run of 8 consecutive league wins and are looking to close the gap on league leaders Manchester City to just 1 point. Team news then, and Arsenal have named an unchanged starting lineup for the 4th game running. As for Liverpool, they've named 2 changes from the side which beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-0 away from home at the weekend, with Thiago and Jota coming in for Keita, and surprisingly, Mohamed Salah has also been named on the bench. The lineups in full then for Arsenal: Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Cedric Suarez, Ben White, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka both start in midfield. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli on the wings, and Martin Odegaard starts just behind Alexander Lacazette. As for Liverpool, Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago in a midfield three. Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane are the front three. Kick-off is just round the corner. Kick-off is fast approaching at the Emirates Stadium for this huge Premier League encounter between Arsenal and Liverpool. Both teams come into this game on a terrific run of form. Arsenal are currently on a run of 5 consecutive wins and are looking to go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United with a win. Liverpool come into this game on a run of 8 consecutive league wins and are looking to close the gap on league leaders Manchester City to just 1 point. Team news then, and Arsenal have named an unchanged starting lineup for the 4th game running. As for Liverpool, they've named 2 changes from the side which beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-0 away from home at the weekend, with Thiago and Jota coming in for Keita, and surprisingly, Mohamed Salah has also been named on the bench. The lineups in full then for Arsenal: Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Cedric Suarez, Ben White, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka both start in midfield. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli on the wings, and Martin Odegaard starts just behind Alexander Lacazette. As for Liverpool, Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil.
For Liverpool, that could be Premier League glory. For Arsenal, a step back towards their former riches. And Mikel Arteta has named an unchanged side to face Liverpool this evening, which means starting in goal is Aaron Ramsdale. As a back four of Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, Ben White and Cedric Suarez. Holding in midfield, Granit Xhaka. Of course, he got sent off in these two's clash in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, which Liverpool went on to win, of course. And Thomas Partey partners Xhaka in the midfield. There's an attacking trio. It's become very, very familiar recently of Gabriel Martinelli, Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. And leading the line, the captain this evening for the Gunners, Alexandre Lacazette. On the bench this evening, Bernd Leno is the substitute goalkeeper. There's Emile Smith-Rowe. It's going to be a real boost of confidence for Arsenal fans this evening to see him back, the club's top goal scorer in the Premier League. There's Rob Holding on the bench too, so is Nicolas Pepe, Nuno Tavares, Albert Sambi Lokonga, Mohamed El Neni, Eddie Nketiah, and the young 21-year-old Zach Swanson. But over to the Liverpool lineup, which has a notable omission. We'll get to that very soon. Starting in goal, of course, as always, Alisson, with a back four of Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, Joel Matip and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Midfield trio of Thiago Alcantara, Fabinho Holding in the centre, and Jordan Henderson off to the right. Up front is where the headlines have been made this evening. Sadio Mane starts on the left, Diogo Jota down the middle, Luis Diaz down the right, which means Mohamed Salah, who's been the first player to reach 20 goals this season, the 4th time he's done that in his Premier League career, is on the bench at the Emirates tonight. Joining him is Quaveen Kelleher, the goalkeeper, Ibrahima Konate, Naby Keita, Roberto Firmino, Joe Gomez, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Curtis Jones and Takumi Minamino. Well, we're just a few moments away from kick-off. The atmosphere is really building inside the Emirates. There are flags flying across all the tiers of this modern stadium. Of course, tributes to Ukraine throughout the crowd. Plenty of yellow and blue on display. And there will be, of course, more tributes to the besieged people in Eastern Europe who have been through so much out in the Ukraine. Arsenal, well, they've had really difficult luck against Liverpool recently. They've won just one of their past 18 meetings in all competitions, drawing 8 of them, losing 9. And they beat Liverpool last 2-1. A positive omen for the Gunners was at home in July 2020. They failed to score in any of the last 5 meetings. That being said, they've won every one of their last 5 games. That performance against Watford really was an exciting one by the Gunners against the relegation-threatened side. Liverpool, meanwhile, have won every single one of their previous 8 games in the Premier League. They'll be hoping to go one better this evening. It's going to be an intriguing game. Plenty of storylines and narratives throughout this match this evening. Not least the form of Martin Odegaard. He really has shone for Arsenal this season. He was a little bit in the wilderness following his big money move to Real Madrid, but he's joined the Gunners now on a permanent basis and is starting to really show the class that gave him the tag of Wonder Kid. Jurgen Klopp has taken his seat on his dugout. He's ready, he's pensive, thinking things through alongside the coaching team. He's joined there by Pepin Linders and Peter Javietz. Tonight's officials refereeing the game is Andre Mariner. He'll be assisted by Simon Long and Scott Ledger. They'll be the men holding the flags. Fourth official this evening will be Andy Madley, and the VAR, John Brooks, who will be assisted by Mark Perry. there any moments that need a bit more scrutiny than Andre Mariner and his team can provide on the field of play this evening. The Mohamed Salah doesn't look particularly happy on the bench, but he does his job for the Liverpool side when called upon. Really is an unselfish player, and there is what has become such a tradition in the Premier League. All 22 players and the staff roundly applauded by all four sides of this ground as we continue to strive towards a more equal society. And that's played all the way back to Matip from the kickoff. Liverpool playing all in yellow from right to left. That's a long ball forward down to Jota. He's flicked that on looking for Luis Diaz. Across comes Gabriel. Nips the ball away from him just as he was about to burst into the box and launches it clear onto Fabinho's head in the midfield. Flicked forward by Robertson. Partey's battling with it with Thiago Alcantara. Forces it back to Fabinho. Square to Matip. Forward ball to Jota. Lasers off to Thiago. Tries to poke it wide, but it's dropped to Henderson via a deflection from Tierney. Mane's wide, close to the byline, down the right-hand side for Liverpool. Plays this back down the line for Alexander-Arnold. There's a good ball towards the back post, looking for Jota. Out came Ramsdale, flapped at it. Going to carry all the way through to Robertson. Tries to get the ball in on the first time. Clashes against Bukayo Saka. And that's out for a very early corner for Liverpool. Their intent right on show from the first kick of the game. Liverpool and Ramsdale tried to be authoritative with the cross, but couldn't get a touch on it. And Liverpool will have this corner. Ramsdale, big puff for the cheeks. Needs to relax if he's going to do his job for Arsenal this evening. Lurking on the edge of the area for Liverpool is Thiago. Plenty of big bodies though in the box. In comes the corner. It's towards the back post. Getting up towards it is Virgil van Dijk, and it's just skewers off of his head via a deflection though. Matip was the man with the last Liverpool touch. It came off at Martinelli last though. There'll be a corner from the opposite side this time. Van Dijk has scored plenty from these set pieces this season, and the mere presence of quite a colossal figure from the back causes so many worries in defensive positions for Liverpool's opponents. It's going to be Alexander-Arnold from the right-hand side. This will swing away from Ramsdale. Andre Mariner still trying to sort out the defenders. And it comes towards the penalty spot. There's Van Dijk. There's the header down towards the near post. Good save from Ramsdale. Pushes it past the post. Out for another corner kick. Straight into the feet of Alexander-Arnold, who will waste no time spotting this up. And Van Dijk just checked his run. It swung away towards him. Arsenal weren't quick enough to get towards the big Dutchman. The header was powerful. Just needed to be a little bit further towards the corner. Ramsdale got a big left hand to it. And Alexander-Arnold stands over the ball on the right-hand side for Liverpool. He will take the corner once again. In comes the delivery. It's towards the far post. Fabinho's underneath it. Nodded away well by Xhaka. Drops here to Luis Diaz. Back in towards the box. Cleared this time by White. Jumping for the ball is Thiago with Saka. Drops to Martinelli. Nods it forward after two bites of the cherry. Lacazette tries to poke it into Liverpool territory, but it's back with Martinelli heading towards his own box. Passes that back to Ramsdale. Comes to the left-hand side of his 18-yard box. Simple pass to Tierney. Long ball attempted down the line. Blocked out of play by Sadio Mane. Arsenal will have the throw level with the edge of their box. Lightning start to this game already. And staring intently at the iPad on the bench is Nicolas Yerva, the Frenchman, one of the assistant coaches at Arsenal. They've picked the ball up in midfield, stripped Jota of it. There's a ball forward from Xhaka. That's laid off by Lacazette into Odegaard. They're streaming forward here, Arsenal. Ball right down the outside for Saka. Sliding in is Robertson. Good challenge by the Scotsman. And tries to drive away, but he's been robbed by Odegaard. Was that fair? Andre Mariner says no. That's a free kick in the left-back position. Much to Martin Odegaard's frustration. Throws his hands up in the air. Thought that Andy Robertson rather bought that. And the tackle initially from Robertson was good. He showed just enough of the ball to Martin Odegaard to give the Norwegian some interest, but he was adjudged just to have been a little bit too physical in his challenge on the fullback. Applause though for the idea for his teammates. He created 6 chances against Leicester last time out. That's the most he's ever done. Long ball forward, nodded forward by Tierney into the feet of Martinelli, just inside his own half. Tries to shrug away the defenders. Plays the ball back to Ben White on the right-hand side of the centre-back pairing. Exchange a pass with Cedric. Long ball forward now by White, looking for the run of Saka. Gets a touch in front of Van Dijk. Tries to keep it in play, does Saka. There's Van Dijk, gets the ball. Lays this to the retreating Robertson. He's going to pass this back to Alisson. Clad all in black this evening, the Liverpool goalkeeper. Takes a touch out of his feet. Left-footed pass out to the right-hand side. There's Matip, straight back inside to Alisson. They'll go the other way this time now for Van Dijk. Van Dijk looks to the left, decides to go back to Matip on the opposite side of the box. Lacazette's there pressing him. It's back into the feet of Alisson. Struggling to get the ball free this time. Liverpool, it's a left-footed pass wide to Matip. Forward ball, that's a good pass into Mane's feet. He dropped into the Liverpool half and the ball was it looked to be a free kick. He tried to take it quickly, did Mane. Andre Mariner spotted the ball was still moving. The challenge came in from Gabriel, just shy of the halfway line inside Liverpool territory. And they can relieve the pressure this way now. And Andre Mariner is just trying to get them to get the ball back to where the challenge occurred. It's helped out by the Arsenal captain Alexander Lacazette. And Van Dijk will get the game going again with a square pass to Matip. He's gone straight back to Van Dijk, left of centre, just shy of the centre circle. He's the Liverpool defender. Wide to the left for Robertson. Down the line it goes for Diaz. Takes a touch back into side to the Liverpool half. Inside it goes to Van Dijk. Cross-field ball out to the right-hand side. There's two players in yellow there. It's going to drop here to Alexander-Arnold. Wasn't expecting it with Mane just in front of him and can't keep it in play. Wanted him to make a move inside or out so he could play that first time down the line, but instead Arsenal have possession on the left-hand side, midway through their own half. Tierney will take the throw. Lacazette comes back from his attacking areas and will collect the ball from Tierney. First time ball back to him. Left-footed ball up towards Gabriel to Martinelli. Picking the ball off though, off his toe is Thiago. Back to Van Dijk, wide to Alexander-Arnold, just inside to Thiago on the right-hand side of the defence for Liverpool. Now Van Dijk takes a touch to the left-hand side of the centre circle, wide to Robertson on the halfway line, goes back to Van Dijk, forward ball to Fabinho, under a bit of pressure, releases the ball though well to Thiago, out to the left-hand side for Robertson, takes the touch off the line, back inside it goes to Van Dijk, but he's heading back in towards his own box. Quick pass to Alisson, under pressure from Odegaard, gets it free, out to Matip, he's running down the touchline, long ball attempted, picked off by Tierney. Mane was the intended target. Tierney clears over the halfway line. Lacazette shows some interest. Fabinho nods it forward. Volleyed long by Joel Matip. Coming across to try and chase the ball is Luis Diaz. Out came Ramsdale, touched with the chest. Volleyed it forward towards the halfway line. It's broken to Fabinho, following a touch from Henderson. Steers this back to Virgil van Dijk, just inside the centre circle in Liverpool territory. Now Thiago, 10 yards further forward, plays the ball square to the left-hand side to Andy Robertson. It's back inside, though, with Thiago. Now, Alexander-Arnold return first time to Henderson. Inside now to Joel Matip. Matip square to so does Ben White. Nods that out of the edge of the area. Partey now lays this back to Gabriel. Steps over the ball, allows it to run through to Aaron Ramsdale. Evades Diogo Jota's challenge. Finds Thomas Partey. Square out to the right-hand side for Cedric. Back inside to Ben White. First time pass back to Aaron Ramsdale. He's going to carry this forward 5 or 6 yards towards the edge of his box before unleashing a long ball looking for Martinelli. Nodded down but not away by Matip. Alexander-Arnold tries to do what Matip couldn't. He appeals for a handball on Martinelli. Think it did strike the arm of the Brazilian number 35, and Liverpool have a free kick. Alexander-Arnold stands over it. It's around 12 yards shy of the halfway line, tight to the touchline down the right-hand side. Quick start to this game so far. Liverpool dominating the ball in the early stages. Whips that across field. It's a good ball looking for Andy Robertson, but Cedric Suarez was alive for the danger. Nods that into midfield for Saka to collect. Now Partey. Ball down the line for Saka. Running onto it. Up against Virgil van Dijk, who's been pulled quite wide here. Saka now to the edge of the box. Crosses it towards the back post. It drops to Martinelli. Volleys it into the ground. Headed clear, but not too far by Matip. The return header comes in from Xhaka from the edge of the box, but Alisson is not going to be beaten by one of those. And catches it quite calmly, but there's a nervy moment there for Liverpool. Arsenal have been potent in the attack, especially down that right-hand side with Saka. Couldn't find the combination with Odegaard, but did see the ball to the far post for Martinelli. I think he was caught in two minds trying to feed it to Lacazette in the middle of the box on the 6-yard line. Didn't really connect with the ball particularly well. There's a long ball forward that's nodded out of play into the hands of Mikel Arteta by Ben White. He's stationed on the edge of his technical area, the Arsenal manager. Caught the ball and dropped it to the ground, but Andy Robertson's gone to collect from the Arsenal dugout. Moving his arms energetically is Mikel Arteta, trying to get his team organised from this throw-in. Here's Robertson. Robertson throws in. Diogo Jota Shifts it to the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold's got a bit of space here. Midway through the Arsenal half. Down the line it goes for Mane. Collects just in front of Tierney. Turns back towards the halfway line. Finds Henderson. Henderson lines up the cross. Thinks better of it. Goes wide to Mane instead. He's up against Tierney. Slows play down. And Henderson goes streaking past him. It's back to Alexander-Arnold. Chips it over the top for Mane. Mane gets a touch on it. And it's out of play. The touch was too loose from the Senegalese. And Arsenal can relieve the pressure with a goal kick. Sadio Mane really does score so important goals for Liverpool. He scored 8 in his previous 15 Premier League appearances versus Arsenal. A very good run, good return from Sadio Mane. Of course, some of those may even have come against when playing for Southampton. Really full of attacking talents are Liverpool. It's a long ball from the goal kick from Ramsdale out to the right-hand side. Robertson physical with Saka. Saka physical back. Bounces out of play for a Liverpool throw. Midway through their half, down their left-hand side. Robertson has the ball in his hands above his head. Staring intently into the middle of the field and throws into Fabinho. Fabinho, loose touch, tries to prod it past Partey. He's a firm obstacle though. Bounces off of his shins, out of play. For another Liverpool throw. Tighter to the halfway line this time. So thrown back to Fabinho. Steers this back to Virgil van Dijk in the left back position. Inside it goes to Thiago, who's just come to collect from midfield. To the right hand side to Matip. He's got a bit of space to run into. Carries it towards the halfway line. Tries to fire one over the top, but Luis Diaz to chase, but it's just a little bit overhit. Cedric Suarez covered the ball. Ramsdale collects. He's got the ball under one arm. Looking very casual at the moment is Aaron Ramsdale. Diogo Jota already complaining about the time it's taking the goalkeeper to distribute this ball. A couple of bounces into the Emirates turf. Really impeccable playing surface here in North London. Volleyed long downfield looking for Saka. Andy Robertson does well. Stoops low to head the ball back to Alisson. He attempted a volleyed ball to Saka. Doesn't come off from Ramsdale. Good idea though. Pass out to Virgil van Dijk from Alisson. Now Robertson goes back inside to Van Dijk. Once again the pass out to Robertson on the left hand side. Still in their defensive third here, Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk will shift it to the right now for Matip. Matip back to Alisson. Takes a touch on the right hand side of his box. And he's going to try and play this through the midfield. It's picked off though by Martinelli. Hand in the back from Fabinho. Goes unpunished by Andre Mariner. But that one from Mane as the ball went over the top on Kieran Tierney. It was actually Gabriel, the man taken to the ground by Mane. That won't go unpunished, and Arsenal have a free kick left of centre. 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Xhaka shown for the short. He waves Gabriel away. Prods it back towards him. There's the free kick taken. Inside it goes. Square to Ben White. White turns, pivots 360 degrees. Long ball forward looking for Saka. Heads it back into play. Keeps it in play. He's pressing Virgil van Dijk. Now Andy Robertson. It's the pass away to Alisson. Back wide to Andy Robertson. He's got a bit more space now. We'll carry this forward up towards the halfway line. To his left is Thiago. Takes over possession of the ball. Inside now to Jordan Henderson. Beats the press of Martinelli. Shifts it to the right hand side. Alexander-Arnold fires one along the ground down the line, but Tierney had a head start on Mane. Tries to get it clear. Fires it into the shins of the Senegalese, and it's out of play for an Arsenal goal kick once again. Liverpool being pinned back into their defensive third. The release ball isn't there yet. Just trying to work out their passing rhythms are the visitors. They've scored 21 goals in this quite impressive streak of 8 Premier League games in a row that they've won. They've conceded just twice during that run of form. As the goal kick long from Ramsdale, over the halfway line it goes. It's to no Arsenal players in particular. Virgil van Dijk with a powerful header. Ben White replies with a volleyed clearance up past the halfway line. Cedric into Martinelli's feet in the centre circle. He's gone down, taken a step on the foot from Joel Matip. Andre Mariner sticks up out an arm to indicate advantage. There is Cedric Suarez collecting the ball from White. Back to Gabriel midway through the Arsenal half. Left-footed ball looking over the top for Martinelli. Flicks that with his head down to Tierney. He's collected the pass back from Tierney. Here's Martinelli to the byline. Martinelli with a drive across goal, and it has to be cleared in the end by Robertson. Matip, danger not gone yet. Kieran Tierney jumping with Henderson, but he's taking the ball away the number 14 for Liverpool, driving down the right-hand side. Is it Liverpool's turn to try on the counter? Forward ball to Jota, over the top for Mane. Xhaka's tracking him, slips to the ground as Mane gets into the box, and then the flag goes up. Mane sensed he was offside, just stuttered in his run. There was a lovely bit of play there from Gabriel Martinelli. First to flick it out to Tierney. Tierney replied with a header down the line. Martinelli beat Alexander-Arnold to it. Found a bit of space as Arnold was left in his dust. The cutback across the box evaded Van Dijk at the front post and Alisson. And was eventually cleared by Robertson via Joel Matip. Here is Tierney carrying the ball forward for Arsenal. The goal kick was short this time. It's back inside to Gabriel. Gabriel square across the edge of the box now to Ben White. White prods that forward to Partey. Partey forward now to Ødegaard. Loose touch though. Allows Fabinho to bite at him, but Ødegaard retains possession. Prods that back to White. Square pass to his left for Gabriel. Carries it forward. Heading towards the halfway line. Out to the left-hand side for Tierney. Tierney's got his head up looking for a pass. Not too much movement in front of him in red shirts at least. Passes back to Gabriel. Gabriel square to Ben White. Midway through the Arsenal half still. Now Gabriel again. Forward to Partey. First time back to Gabriel. Turns and looks towards Ramsdale. The pass isn't on. Fires one out to the left-hand side for Tierney. Back inside to Partey. 6 or 7 yards forward of the edge of the box. He's carried it towards the right-hand side. Feeds the ball to Cedric. Down the line for Ødegaard. Ødegaard's lost the ball though. Picked off by Luis Diaz. Cedric does well to defend in front of the Colombian, but he's conceded the throw-in down the left-hand side, has he? Well, based on Cedric's body language, that looks like it'll be an Arsenal throw. It may have been Luis Diaz last, and there's a smile on the Colombian's face. Wearing the number 23 this evening for Liverpool. He doesn't agree with the official's judgment there. And Cedric Suarez will have the throw for Arsenal instead. Did well to cover his young teammates' slight mistake there. Suarez down the line looking for Saka. Saka tries to flick it on, drops to Robertson. Fabinho's attempted clearance clatters into the back of Martin Ødegaard. Lacazette presses Virgil van Dijk. The ball is back to Alisson on the edge of the D. Pass towards the left foot, Van Dijk. No pass forward for him, so he's gone back to the goalkeeper. Left-footed pass to the right-hand side for Joel Matip. Back inside again for Alisson. This pattern of play has been persistent throughout the opening stages of this game. Here is Virgil van Dijk, 6 yards forward of the 18-yard box. Pass out to Robertson. Thiago comes to collect. First time ball back to Van Dijk. Now it's again with Robertson. Cedric Suarez is pressing. Now Saka on Van Dijk. Out to the right-hand side for Henderson. Henderson's popping up in the right back position at the moment. Goes inside now to Joel Matip. Matip forward to Thiago. Touch away from Saka. Fires one out to the right-hand side. That's a good ball. Here is Alexander-Arnold into the box. It's a good cross, but it's taken away by Kieran Tierney. Forward to Xhaka. Now feeds it to Lacazette. So been robbed by Fabinho. Good tackle. Matip returns it to Fabinho. Forward ball now to Alexander-Arnold. Down the line for Jota. Good touch from him. Keeps the possession for Liverpool. Played back to Henderson. Lines up the cross. Going to prod it wide to Jota instead, though. Jota goes back now to Joel Matip. Square to Van Dijk. Van Dijk on the edge of the centre circle inside Arsenal territory. Finds a pass to his left to Thiago. Out to the right-hand side for Matip. Joining in the attack. Out to the right now for Henderson. Further wide to Alexander-Arnold. Henderson runs round his back, and Alexander-Arnold tries to get the cross in. It's blocked at the first attempt by Xhaka. Nodded away, but collected by Fabinho. Lays this back to Virgil van Dijk. Across it goes to Joel Matip. Matip out to Alexander-Arnold once again. Takes a touch on the touchline. Just inside him is Henderson. Forward ball to Mane. In a bit of space between midfield and defence. Tried to run past Gabriel. Went tumbling to the ground dramatically. Andre Mariner says no foul. Arsenal carry it forward now with Cedric down the right-hand side. Chips it towards the head of Ødegaard. Heads that back to Thomas Partey. That's a robust challenge from Diogo Jota, which will be penalised by Andre Mariner. Free kick right of centre on the halfway line for Arsenal. Alexander Lacazette comes to talk to Andre Mariner about that challenge. And he's being told to settle down. Is the offending player. Cedric biting in on Thiago. Luis Diaz gets it clear for Arsenal. Jota's given it away. Partey tries to find Ødegaard, but Jota picks the ball up again. There's Henderson. Out to the right-hand side for Alexander-Arnold to run onto. Gabriel Martinelli tracks well. All the way back to the edge of his box and plays it back to Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale onto his right, finds Ben White to the right-hand side of the box, level with the side of the 6-yard area. To Gabriel inside the box, out to Kieran Tierney down the left. He's got a bit of space to run into. He'll carry it forward. Over the halfway line he goes. Stopped in his tracks though by Henderson. Back to Gabriel. Midway through the Arsenal territory. They're sneaking their way forward though, the Gunners. Ben White to Cedric Suarez. Through midfield to Partey. First time ball back to White. Odegaard's come to collect from him. Onto that back to Gabriel. Gabriel shifts the ball from left to right. He's walking his way forward now. Square pass to his right to Ben White. There's Partey now on the edge of the centre circle. So is Lacazette drifting from Liverpool territory to Arsenal. Ball over the top from Partey, looking for Saka. Out comes Alisson, just skips into his gloves on the edge of the box when Saka was about to get there. Overarm throw to the left-hand side. Here is Robertson driving into Arsenal territory. Ball forward, whips it, but it's just in front of Mane and drifts into the gloves of Aaron Ramsdale. Rolls that out to Ben White. White inching his way towards the midfield. Goes square to his centre-half partner, Gabriel. Puts that forward with his left and has to turn back as Jota shows some interest and feeds that to White instead. White square to Gabriel. Edging his way forward, the Arsenal defender. Wide to the left for Tierney. Tierney's in a bit of a cul-de-sac, has to go back to Gabriel. Now he'll find a ball to the left-hand side. That's Xhaka popping up out there. He looked forward briefly before going back to Gabriel. Gabriel shaped to pass it back to Xhaka, but instead goes inside to Ben White. White carries forward under a bit of pressure from Jota, gets the ball away to Cedric. Ball down the line now for Saka. He's in his own half though, inside to Partey. Partey lays that back to Gabriel. Bit more territory here gained from Arsenal on the halfway line. Kieran Tierney takes the ball. Ball down the line for Martinelli. Martinelli running at Alexander-Arnold. Has had a bit of joy so far this evening. Going to have to check back with 3 Liverpool bodies in his way. Tierney feeds in the ball again though. Xhaka's trying to take one of those away. Onto his right foot goes Martinelli. Down the side of the box at the moment are Arsenal. Prodded back towards Tierney, just shy of that. Tierney up against Mane. Decides to think better of running past him. Goes back to Gabriel on the halfway line. Wide to the left-hand side for Xhaka. Left-footed ball out to the right-hand side. Saka's in a bit of space. Xhaka to Saka. Here is Saka onto his left foot. Saka drifting infield. There is a ball to Cedric. Lines up the shot. Strikes from distance, but doesn't catch it particularly well. And Lacazette bellows at his colleague. He'd made a interesting run, curling from left to right. Not spotted by the fullback, and the effort was off target. Dribbles harmlessly wide of Alisson's left hand upright. Alisson will take the goal kick short to Matip inside the box. Back it goes to the goalkeeper. Loose touch allows Lacazette a sniff, but Alisson's got the ball free to Van Dijk. Now Robertson down the line. It's a good tackle there from White, but he can't retain possession. Thiago nips in, gets it away from him, but only out of play for a throw-in. Third of the way into Liverpool territory. Cedric goes to collect the ball from the 4th official. He's resting it on his right hand at the moment, trying to get players moving for him. Odegaard spins and runs towards him. Saka jinks one way then the other. It will go into Saka. Saka left-footed pass inside to Partey. Prodded out to Cedric. Back to Ben White, just inside the Arsenal half of the field. Gabriel's in a central position. And forward to Partey, wide to the left-hand side. Tierney drives forward. Down the line for Martinelli. Once again running at Alexander-Arnold. But Liverpool running back towards their own goal. Here's Martinelli drifting inside. Spins back outside. There's the ball to Tierney. Tierney chops onto his right. And again, as Mane comes back, and the pass with his right foot is really poorly hit. Sliding challenge in the midfield as Jota tried to carry it away for Liverpool. Nothing given by Andre Mariner. Good challenge by Partey. Here's Gabriel inside Liverpool territory. Forward to Partey, central area. Right-footed ball out to the right-hand side. Taken down on the chest of Saka. Saka drifting towards the box. Saka onto his left foot. Saka tumbles to the ground. Slipped, and Luis Diaz carries it away for Liverpool. Diaz still in possession of the ball. Diaz skips past the challenges, retains possession for Liverpool. Plays that back to Andy Robertson. Into midfield for Fabinho from the Scotsman. He's been robbed by Lacazette. It's to Partey. And the referee's blown the whistle. Says that's a foul. Martin Odegaard can't believe it, waves his finger dismissively at Andre Mariner. And the challenge, well, you can understand why Referee's given that. The challenge from Lacazette was a good one. One from Odegaard, really just dangled the leg at the shin of Luis Diaz, and Xhaka has been ushered away from the referee by Alexandre Lacazette. He's talking himself into a booking there. Thiago takes the free kick short to Virgil van Dijk, spins on it, looks to his right, goes to his left instead to Robertson. Back inside to Thiago, 6 yards inside the Liverpool half. Shifted to the right hand side for Matip, who's popped up in the right back position. Back into the middle for Virgil van Dijk. Now to the left hand side, tight to the touchline and up to the halfway line is Robertson. Across it goes now for Luis Diaz. Tracking back towards his own half is Thiago. Picked the ball up from the Colombian. Shift it to the right hand side, through the air onto the chest of Henderson. Takes a touch inside Liverpool territory. Carries the ball over the halfway line into Arsenal's. Plays that back to Matip. Inside the centre circle are the two Liverpool centre halves. Van Dijk forward to Thiago. Wide to the right hand side of that centre circle for Matip. Henderson down the line for... Played the pass by Alexander-Arnold was Henderson. It's back inside though for Van Dijk. Luis Diaz came to collect from Van Dijk. Almost gave the ball away as it was a couple of inches away from picking that off from the pass to Alexander-Arnold. That's into the box though for Diogo Jota. Jota back outside it to Henderson. Henderson lays off to Alexander-Arnold. Looks for a ball into the area along the ground, but cleared away by Arsenal, only as far as Fabinho. Alexander-Arnold forward to Jota. Mane coming back from an offside position. Fed the ball by Jota. Jota got it back. Mane tried to cross. It's cleared there by Martinelli. I think Mane was just level as the ball was played to him. Matip looks over the top. Mane wasn't getting back onside in time. And that's out of play for an Arsenal throw. Tight to their corner flag down the left-hand side. We'll have another look at that bit of play there from Alexander-Arnold. He's got 16 assists this season. It's a career best, and that includes 4 versus the Gunners. How desperately he'd like to make that 5 now. And what is such a pivotal game for Liverpool's title hopes. There's a long goal kick from Ramsdale from the centre of the 6-yard line. Towering header attempted by Virgil van Dijk. He went over the top of him. Andy Robertson spared his blushes though. Under pressure from Saka. Bit of head tennis in the midfield. Can't get the ball down on the deck either of these two sides. There's another header from Andy Robertson. Partey's there to win it back for Arsenal. Partey prods that towards Cedric. Good strength from Thomas Partey up against Thiago, but Luis Diaz keeps it in play for Liverpool. They can't keep possession. It's back with Ramsdale. Touches it outside of the box on the right hand side. Passes it to Partey. He's given the ball away. Luis Diaz was nipping back into the midfield for Thiago. Lays it off to Matip on the centre spot. Forward ball to Fabinho just to his left. Wide to the left hand side for Robertson. Down the touchline for Luis Diaz, but no space for him. He's going to go back to the defenders with Virgil van Dijk just shy of the centre circle. Left of centre is Andy Robertson. Plods the ball over the halfway line. Gets it back from Thiago. Back 5 yards square to his right is Thiago. Shifts it to the right for Henderson. Lays that off to Matip. Forward ball to Thiago. Diagonal to his left. Tight to the touchline on the left hand side is Robertson. Whips one into the box. It's found Jota. Tries to backheel it into the path of Mane. Very best serve, taking it down, and Ben White can launch this clear for Arsenal over the halfway line. Tracked by Virgil van Dijk as it skips out of play once off the deck. And he'll collect the ball from the ball boy on the Liverpool left hand side. Thought about throwing that backwards to Alisson. Thought better of it as he saw Lacazette come sprinting towards the goalkeeper. Has been left for Andy Robertson instead. Down the line it goes for Luis Diaz. Good close control from the Colombian, but the pass has left a lot to be desired. Skipped off of Odegaard. It found Cedric, and Luis Diaz is pushing and pulling at the Arsenal fullback. Forward ball to Lacazette. Lays it off to Odegaard. He's been robbed of it by Fabinho. It's been sent all the way back to Alisson. He had Lacazette sprinting and bearing down on him. Long ball from Alisson. Found Gabriel, but he couldn't find a pass into midfield. Liverpool have nipped it away from Arsenal. The ball forward from Robertson to Diaz. Diaz tries to get the ball back to Robertson, who tried to find Mane, but Gabriel made amends for his earlier mistake. There is Tierney. Over the top for Martinelli. Alexander-Arnold slips. Alisson comes sprinting to the right. Clips it down the line. And Alexander-Arnold did well to keep that in play. Did he know, says the referee's assistant on that far side. Has his flag up with his left arm to show that that's going to be an Arsenal throw. Just inside their half of the field. Kieran Tierney has the ball already. He's being ushered a little bit more forward by Andre Mariner. He's being conservative with he was going to take that throw. That goes down the line for Martinelli. Takes a touch. Shifts in field now. Martinelli still in possession, evading tackles one way then the other. Martinelli feeds it to Cedric Suarez. Third of the way into Arsenal territory. Back to Ben White. Wide to the right-hand side for Saka. Takes a touch with his left. Looking in field. Right-footed pass back to White. Right of centre on the halfway line. Very central now is Gabriel. Just shy of the centre circle. Lifts this to the left-hand side for Tierney, who came back to collecting them. Prods that down the line for Gabriel. Martinelli running at Alexander-Arnold. Inside to Xhaka. First time pass with his left to Tierney. Back inside to Xhaka. Xhaka lays that back to Gabriel. Now Ben White in the centre circle, drifting to the right-hand side though. Finds a pass to Saka. Saka up against Robertson, tries to work it round the corner for Odegaard. Odegaard gets between Van Dijk and the ball, but Van Dijk, good bit of strength there to guide the ball back into the gloves of his goalkeeper. 30 minutes on the clock at the Emirates, and it's still 0-0. Just been 3 shots, 2 of which belong to Liverpool, only 1 of which has been on target. That was very early, a header from Virgil van Dijk. Goes Robertson forward to Jota. To the left-hand side it goes to Diaz. Diaz trying to hold off Ben White. Now Saka gets back at him. Wins the ball for Arsenal. Prods that back to Ben White. Loose touch. Jota nods it past it. Knocks it past Cedric Suarez, but he recovers well with a sliding challenge. And Ben White almost had Arsenal in all kinds of trouble there. There goes Jota, goes limping away. Looks like he'll shake this off though. White pulls his socks up. Robertson will have the throw. It's 12 yards from the byline. Down the left-hand side for Liverpool. Goes backwards to Fabinho. Back forward to Robertson. Eases it down the line. Thought there would be someone there, but closes down the clearance of Cedric. And Aaron's arm just strikes Cedric in the back. And the two share an embrace as Andy Robertson apologises to Cedric for the accidental contact. No drama, no problems there. So, to let you know that in the earlier kickoff, which kicked off at 7:45, Brighton are now 2-0 down to Tottenham. A groan from the Emirates faithful. Aaron Ramsdale spots the ball up in the centre of his 6-yard box. Just going to brush off some of the grass from his boots before whacking that ball long downfield, looking for Saka. Little shove on Robertson, gets him away from the ball, but the Scotsman gets back at Saka and launches it clear. Ben White back to Saka. Odegaard in field to Partey. Lays this off to Gabriel. Gabriel looks for a ball between the lines. He's found Lacazette. That's a good touch, and he's spun away from the challenges. Here's Martinelli. Through ball to Odegaard. It's skipped off the deflection from Andy Robertson. Wide to Lacazette. Lays off to Xhaka. Xhaka shoots, and it's wide of the left hand upright from 25 yards or so past Alisson's goal. Xhaka really can hit them. Just whether he can place them, it remains to be seen. Lacazette did ever so well up against Joel Matip, who got the wrong side of the Arsenal number 9. Was persistent though, Lacazette. Out on the left-hand side, saw the run of Xhaka towards the edge of the box, fed in the ball. He hit it first time with his left, but there was too much curl on the effort. And the ball has been launched long by Liverpool. Onto the head of Mane. Runs that towards the corner flag. Ben White's there though. I'd say late challenge by Mane as White touched it away from him. And a free kick. No need to do that, Sadio Mane. He could have just been assistant with White. Instead, tried to win it quickly. And Arsenal can relieve the pressure with a free kick from to the right-hand side of their penalty area, which will be taken by the goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. Once again, a little brush off of the clinging on grass of his boots. Big exhale of breath. Launches it long down the touchline. Off the head of Robertson, backwards rather than forwards. Lacazette's making a nuisance of himself with Virgil van Dijk, who just shoves out at Lacazette in frustration. Will be a throw-in down the right-hand side. So, thrown in quickly to Saka, back to Cedric Suarez. There's the cross into the box, headed up but not very far by Matip. Drops to Thiago, he nods that towards midfield, picked off by Partey, off of the toes of Jota. Partey running back towards his defenders though. There's Gabriel on the halfway line. Ben White inside his own half. Right-footed ball over the top, looking for Saka. Will it get there? Robertson gets ahead to the ball before it reaches the England man. It's out of play in exactly the same place as Arsenal had that throw just a few moments ago. Saka has the ball in his hands. He's going to leave this, though, for Cedric up from the back. He throws into Odegaard. First time ball back to Cedric. Onto his right foot, whips the ball across off the head of Virgil van Dijk. Drops here to Mane. Mane tries to carry it clear. He's tumbled to the deck again, and nothing has been given. So, not for the first time this evening. Xhaka goes back to Gabriel in the centre of the field. There's White in the right back position. Ball over the top once again, and this one Andy Robertson can deal with quite easily. Wouldn't go out of play though, so he caresses it down the line for Sadio Mane. Odegaard's giving him a bit of trouble. We're inside to Jota, trying to lay it off. And Jurgen Klopp is apoplectic with the fourth official this evening. Andy Madley getting a real earache from the German. I think it was the challenge on Sadio Mane. Andre Mariner saw nothing wrong with it. Looks like he just held up his run. Cedric, for his credit, did get the ball, even if he was reaching around the back with his right foot. And Jurgen Klopp cannot believe it. Inside it goes to Jota. Wide to the right-hand side to Luis Diaz. He's popping up on the right now. Luis Diaz tries to run past Tierney, but good pace from the former Celtic man. Played back to Aaron Ramsdale. Plods that forward to Gabriel in the corner of the box. Tierney will take over now, driving down the touchline. Jota stops him in his tracks. Inside it goes to Xhaka instead. Xhaka heading back towards his own box, square to Partey, laid back to Ben White. White shaped to go back to Gabriel. Showed a little bit of it to Thiago. It was mine to Cedric instead, though. Odegaard came to collect from Cedric. It's all just outside the Arsenal penalty area, though. Back to the goalkeeper. Takes a touch and clips one up towards Saka. One by Robertson. Heads forward, but only finds Partey. Square to his 3 yards to his left is Xhaka. Left-footed ball out to the left-hand side, taken down very nicely by Martinelli. He's running at Alexander-Arnold, drifts in field, past Alexander-Arnold. Still Martinelli on the edge of the area. Martinelli holding for the ball up, back to Xhaka. Xhaka clips it to the right-hand side. There is Saka, tries to take a touchdown with his left and just couldn't get there. Should have been a little bit more patient there, Bukayo Saka. Had a bit more time to take the ball down, wasn't under too much pressure. Instead it'll be a Liverpool throw down the left-hand side. A few yards forward from the byline. Good work though by Martinelli. He drifted in field against Alexander-Arnold so well and left him for dead. Held the ball up on the edge of the box, and that's when the move started to break down with Xhaka's left-footed ball out to the right for Saka. And Liverpool have given the ball away again. There's Gabriel on the halfway line. Forward now to Martin Odegaard. Wide to Cedric up from fullback. He's got Saka just in front of him. Takes the ball to Saka. Tries to feed it back to Cedric, but they weren't on the same wavelength there, and that's out of play for a Liverpool goal kick. Cedric Suarez just wasn't alive to the move that Saka was trying to put together, and allowed Andy Robertson to just step across him and see that ball out for a goal kick, which has been taken short. Robertson down the line for Jota. He can't keep control, and that's out of play, and Partey throws it in quickly into the feet of Xhaka. Back out wide to the right-hand side for Cedric. Arsenal showing some real intent here. Cross into the box looking for Lacazette. One in the air by Matip. This will drop though for Xhaka. Xhaka inside to Partey. Partey back to Xhaka in the middle of the field. Ball out to the left-hand side for Kieran Tierney. Up against Luis Diaz. Back inside to Xhaka. Xhaka looks over the top to try and return it. He's picked up the ball after the deflection. There's Partey on the edge of the area. Partey lines up the shot. Sliding challenge blocks from Mane. Liverpool breaking here. Luis Diaz evades the challenge of Gabriel, sliding in on the halfway line, but Arsenal recover quickly. Luis Diaz back now to Henderson. Steered back to Alexander-Arnold. Prods it into midfield for Fabinho. Almost left it behind. Back to Matip. Now Thiago in the centre circle. Left of centre is Virgil van Dijk. Wide to the left-hand side for Robertson. Back inside to Virgil van Dijk on the halfway line. Now Thiago in the central area. Right of centre is Alexander-Arnold. Edging forward here Liverpool. Bounces it off Luis Diaz. And returns the ball to Diaz, does Alexander-Arnold. Back it goes once again to the England fullback. Left-footed pass to the left-hand side for Virgil van Dijk. He was left of centre. Wide to Robertson, inside to Thiago, midway through the Arsenal territory. Ball back to Matip. Matip looks to his right, goes to his left instead. Returns that ball to Thiago Alcantara. He's got his head up now, heading towards the Arsenal box. Wide to the left-hand side for Robertson. Pass back to Virgil van Dijk, left of centre on the halfway line. Looked right, went back to Robertson. The two have exchanged 3 or 4 passes now. before Virgil van Dijk breaks the pattern and goes to the right-hand side of the centre circle for Matip. Forward ball to Diogo Jota, tries to clip it up for Alexander-Arnold. Got a head on it, but didn't get much direction. Flicks off his forehead, out of play for an Arsenal throw down their left-hand side, tight to the corner flag. Almost at the 40-minute mark, and not too much to talk about in terms of clear-cut chances from either side. Much improved Arsenal performance from the what they produced in the Carabao Cup. Here's Tierney with the throw. Goes up towards Martinelli. Tries to flick it on towards Lacazette. Liverpool have picked it up in the midfield. Matip steers that back to Virgil van Dijk. Prods that into midfield for Fabinho. First time pass back to Matip. Now Van Dijk to the right hand side of the centre circle, just inside Liverpool territory. Robertson fires that forward to Fabinho. Fabinho back from Henderson to Matip, carrying it forward from the right back position. Henderson forward to Luis Diaz, wide to the right hand side for Alexander-Arnold. There's the cross into the box, looking for the head of Jota. White gets it clear. Xhaka into the feet of Partey. He prods that forward towards Martinelli, but Fabinho disrupted it. There is a clipped ball from Henderson, looking for Mane. It's evaded him, it's going to drift out to the left hand side of the box, and Saka's there to get it clear for Arsenal. Right footed, downfield, will stay in play. Robertson collects, and Mikel Arteta's trying to get Saka to press Thiago. He's done well too. Odegaard now. Good shape in the midfield from Arsenal. Lacazette has dropped in to join in with the midfielders. So on the right hand side now with Matip. Matip to the right for Alexander-Arnold. There's a whipped cross toward the back post. Cedric Suarez has to stoop low to nod it out of play. Was lurking behind him. As Diogo Jota was inside, and Sadio Mane up the back of Cedric Suarez, and had to get that right, did the Portuguese. Alexander-Arnold will be the man to whip this in with his right foot from the left hand side for Liverpool. Swinging in towards the goalkeeper. There are a line of Arsenal defenders with another line of Arsenal midfielders just in front of him. And Virgil van Dijk is trying desperately to get the message across to Alexander-Arnold as to what this set-piece routine is. In comes the ball from Alexander-Arnold towards the back post. Nodded up and away by Gabriel. Saka challenging with Thiago on the edge of the area. And his header loops up into the gloves of Aaron Ramsdale. He's released that quickly, looking for Martinelli. Bounces in the Liverpool half. Out comes Alisson. Volleys that clear up past the halfway line. Challenging for the ball is Tierney. Volleys that over the halfway line into the feet of Martinelli. Loose touch, but he's picked it up though. And Martinelli spins away from 1, 2, 3 challenges and prods that back to Tierney. Good play by Martinelli. Heading back towards his own goal is Tierney. Back inside to Ramsdale. Whacks that ball downfield and over the head of Martinelli, out of play. Who's received a rousing round of applause from the Arsenal supporters in the stadium tonight. Has really shown some exciting talent, has Martinelli this season. Really grown into his role in this Arsenal side. And that showed with some intelligent hold-up play on the halfway line. Here is Alexander-Arnold, inching his way towards the halfway line, throws it in. So off of the head of Gabriel, infield to Xhaka, steers that back to Ramsdale. Ramsdale to the left for Gabriel. Gabriel tries to shrug off Jota, clips it up to the halfway line. No foul, says Andre Mariner. Liverpool have picked up the ball through Alexander-Arnold. It's back to Matip, who's fed it forward to Alexander-Arnold. There's a ball looking over the top, onto the head of Ben White though. It's intended for Mane. Gabriel will collect this for Arsenal. Inside to Partey. Wide to the left for Tierney. Midway through their own half. Kicks that ball down the line. Alexander-Arnold sticks out of hand and tries to catch the ball. Appeals for handball from Arsenal fans. Didn't realise that had gone out of play already, and Alexander-Arnold is a lucky boy that he times that to perfection. He's got the ball in his hands, 10 yards into Arsenal territory, down the right-hand side, ready to throw this into play. Thiago's the only Liverpool man really showing any intent. Fabinho's dropping off though, heading backwards. It's going to be looped up towards Mane, headed up and away by Partey. Dropped to Martinelli. Lacazette slipped as he tried to pick up the loose ball, and Alexander-Arnold will shuffle this back to Alisson. Alisson to his left to Van Dijk, under pressure from Saka. Wide to the left for Robertson. He's under close marking from Cedric, and the release ball is picked up by White. Here's Partey inside to Odegaard. Odegaard lays it off to Xhaka. Xhaka to the left for Kieran Tierney. Tierney lines up the cross, clips it into the box. Stooping low is Robertson, and the Matip nods it 6 yards further forward. So Hashed clearance from Fabinho out to the left-hand side. Shrug of the shoulders from Jurgen Klopp. He's not happy with what he's seen from his side so far. Plenty of the ball, but not much done with it. Cedric back to Ben White, inside to Gabriel. What's that forward to Xhaka? Spins away as he releases the ball back to Gabriel. There's a pass back to Ramsdale on the edge of his box. Ramsdale long downfield. Wants to put Robertson under pressure. Saka takes that down well in front of Andy Robertson. Steers it inside to Odegaard. Odegaard out to Lacazette. Lacazette on the edge of the area. Lines up the shot. Good sliding block from Fabinho again. Thiago, forward ball to Jota. Back inside to Henderson from Thiago. Now, Alexander-Arnold looking over the top. That's almost a perfect ball. Mane takes it down the edge of the area. Mane tries to lift it over the goalkeeper and got too much on it. Fires into the Arsenal fans behind that goal. And he timed the run to perfection. The ball from Alexander-Arnold was a beautiful one. The touch was just a little bit too loose from Sadio Mane. Had to rush the attempted chip of Ramsdale, who was quick off his line to force Mane to make his mind up. Gabriel did well defensively to hassle the Senegalese. We've reached the 45-minute mark, and well, that is half-time. That's the last chance of the first half. And Arsenal will be more pleased than the visitors. Martinelli has been a really
Premier League.
At the Stade Pierre-Mauroy, it is Lille 1, Chelsea 1. There weren't that many chances in the contest. Lucky to get 2 goals. A hint of fortune about Lille's. They got a penalty. It came off Jorginho's hand. It needed VAR to make sure that it was a penalty, and the referee was in no doubt. And Yilmaz buried it right into the top corner. That was in the 38th minute. And Chelsea had offered absolutely nothing until the stroke of half-time. Jorginho just given too much time and space. Nobody tracked the run of Pulisic into the box, and it was a tidy finish from a tight angle. 1-1. Full time at the Stade Pierre-Mauroy. It is
don't
Lille
manage to
1,
win many
Chelsea
games. You know,
1.
Wolves really tough to play at the moment. Manchester United.
2 goals. A hint of fortune about Lille's. They got a penalty.
A good side, you know, up and around in European places. So
top
to make
half
sure
side
that it was a penalty, and the referee was in no doubt. And Yilmaz
Liverpool
buried it
nil.
right into the top.
The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well balanced game, but in the end nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very a very well-balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half-time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well-balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half-time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well-balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half-time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester United. It's been a very well-balanced game, but in the end, nothing to separate the two teams so far. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Half-time at the Emirates Stadium, and the score is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. The Reds started really well in the game. Virgil van Dijk's header had to be kept out by Aaron Ramsdale, but other than that, it's been a game of very few chances in truth. Liverpool will know they've got a great chance of closing the gap to Manchester City to just a point, while Arsenal can go 4 points clear of 5th place. Well, we will leave that there as we're about to get underway for the second half at the Emirates Stadium.
Still on. There'll be Arsenal to kick us off in the second half. Xhaka stands over the ball. They're playing from right to left in their traditional home shirts of red with white shorts, white sleeves and red and white socks, and that's back all the way to Ramsdale. Takes the touch, launches one out to the right-hand side. There's two players forward. It's Cedric and Saka. Virgil van Dijk came to meet it. Drops to Saka off the head of the Liverpool centre-half, and it's a free kick with the flag up for offside on Bukayo Saka. Van Dijk receives the ball, tosses it down in front of him, ready to strike this set piece. Henderson, the Liverpool captain, in the centre circle, being marshalled by Granit Xhaka. The free kick has gone inside though to Alisson. Long out to the left-hand side. That's a good ball to Mane. Takes it down well off his thigh. Evades the challenge of Cedric Suarez and plays it back to Virgil van Dijk. Down the left-hand side it goes through Andy Robertson. Infield for Jota, who's drifting back into the midfield area. There's the ball forward from Henderson. It's Mane through on the goal. It's in, and Ramsdale puts his arm up in, appeals for the offside, and there is the flag. The pass through from Jordan Henderson was a beautiful one. Sadio Mane just going a little bit too early. He drifted into an offside position. Clear as day on the replay. Flag, of course, is late, as is the directive. Looked like he was going to open the scoring, but it wasn't to be for Liverpool. Henderson pulling some nice strings there in midfield. The man with the captain's armband on his left bicep. Ramsdale takes the resulting free kick. That's out towards the right-hand side. Saka putting Robertson under pressure. Nods it up to the midfield. There's Odegaard. Flicks it back over his head. Looking for Saka. He flicked that on and kept it in play despite the attentions of Robertson. Odegaard got a touch on it. Came off of Robertson last and then cleared by Liverpool, but Xhaka picks up the loose ball, feeds it to Martinelli. His touch is loose. Long from Alexander-Arnold. Closing on the ball is Diogo Jota, but just lets it bounce and Ben White can get a bite at it. It's out with Cedric Suarez on the right-hand side of the box. He's been fouled by Sadio Mane, much to the frustration of the Liverpool fans over in that corner. Andre Mariner holds his hand out, pointing downfield to tell that that's going to be an Arsenal free kick from the right-hand side of their box. And almost caught out there, Arsenal. Diogo Jota didn't give up the ghost on the chance. Sadio Mane was helping him out, but probably better served staying out of things as Jota harassed Ben White. It'll be Ramsdale to clear this from 6 yards outside of his box. Long downfield, once again out to the right-hand side. Saka will try and isolate Robertson. Fabinho heads forward. Partey picks up his distribution out to the right-hand side for Odegaard. He's got Saka for company. Back into the midfield for Partey. Wide to the right-hand side for Cedric. They're going to reset here with the ball back to Gabriel on the halfway line. Inside the centre circle. To the right-hand side it goes to Ben White. Back inside to Gabriel. Shifts from right to left. The ball goes to the left-hand side for Martinelli. On the touchline, Martinelli running at Alexander-Arnold. Skips past him with ease. Martinelli up towards the edge of the box. Martinelli, though, stopped in his tracks by Henderson. Puts it through his legs, though. Goes past Alexander-Arnold. Cut back into the 6-yard line. Wonderful work from Martinelli. Cleared by Virgil van Dijk. Made Henderson look silly there, and he's still running Martinelli, looking for the throw. Comes in from Tierney to Lacazette. There's the header backwards. And Xhaka picks up the clearance. It's out to Tierney. Lines up the cross in towards the far post. There's Saka. Tries to lay it off to Odegaard. It's come to Cedric here, though. Cedric on the right-hand side of the area. Back it goes to Odegaard. Odegaard left-footed cross towards the back post. Takes the deflection on its way through. Takes all the sting out of it. And it carries all the way into the gloves of Alisson, who thankfully grabs that in mid-air with a big sigh of relief. Martinelli, though, beautiful work down that left-hand side. He made it look like Alexander-Arnold wasn't even there. And Henderson thought he'd recovered. Poked it between his legs. And then he beat Alexander-Arnold again. Prodded it across the 6-yard line, but it was smuggled clear by Liverpool. Arsenal knocking on the door here. It's Fabinho in the centre circle to Thiago Alcantara, left of centre. Wide on the left-hand side is Robertson. Midway through the Arsenal half of the field, but it's run into a brick wall. Goes backwards to Thiago again. Thiago through to Henderson in the central area in midfield. Back out wide to the left-hand side for Robertson. Back inside it goes now to Thiago. Luis Diaz is lurking down that left-hand touchline too. Matip encouraged to burst into the attack. Matip tries to fire one into the box, and it's a foul on the edge of the area on Xhaka from Jordan Henderson. Good defending there from Serbian.
And the suggestion is that Mo Salah is imminent. We'll firm that up for you
Swiss
as and when he is, for now, down by the corner flag.
Will take the free kick from
Martinelli.
Yards just outside the box in a central position. Long out to the left-hand side. Martinelli will get on the end of this too.
Thomas
To see the
Partey.
onside, no flag. Martinelli drifting past Alexander-Arnold onto his right foot.
Cannon off for perhaps
Toe on
an
the ball, but
elbow.
still with Martinelli.
Back in
To the
by
edge of the box
White.
for Partey. Partey lines up the
Matip
strike.
kept it
Treats
from
some distance.
Lacazette.
Cannons into Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, what's a pullback pass?
From the
It's
Arsenal for handball.
Lacazette.
Headed forward by White. Matip. It's an unorthodox clearance out to Thiago. He's passed back to Lacazette, picked it off. It's into Odegaard's feet. Odegaard strikes. What a save by Alisson. Closed down. Martin Odegaard. Thiago played the pass blind back to the goalkeeper. Lacazette was still there and lurking. Picked it off before it got back to him. Lacazette was just hiding behind Van Dijk and picked up the ball. He was unselfish, tried to pass it back to Martin Odegaard. His strike was with his left towards the centre of the goal. And with Alisson there, he spreads himself so well. It's a big right arm to it and lifts it over the bar. And head in hands moment for Mikel Arteta. Golden opportunity for Arsenal. Goes begging, but they will have a corner to be taken by Martinelli. Swings it in towards the goalkeeper, up to the 6-yard line. Punched away by Alisson. Drops here for Saka on the edge of the box. Saka from distance, right-footed strike. Easily claimed by Alisson on the ground. Has to be at his best in the past couple of moments there, Alisson. Throws that out to the left-hand side. There's Alexander-Arnold. Opposite side of the field that he's used to. Long ball downfield. That's a good one. Luis Diaz is in hot pursuit, heading towards the corner flag. Will get there in front of Cedric, though. And drifts away from Cedric. Tries to skip it past him. He's been penalised, though. Ran into the Portuguese. And Cedric Suarez is not happy with that. Thinks he's been conned by the dark arts there, the referee does. Cedric Suarez. Well, did look to be a little bit too aggressive there from the Arsenal number 17. And there will be a free kick from tight to the corner flag. Dangerous set-piece territory. We've only had 7 minutes of the second half, and already Liverpool are going to make some changes. And no surprise to see Mohamed Salah there on the touchline, stripped off and ready to go. 20 goals already in the Premier League this season. And behind him, Roberto Firmino. It's Arsenal have a set-piece to defend, and Liverpool have one to attack. It's plenty of bodies forward. Virgil van Dijk is there. In comes the cross. Aaron Ramsdale claims under a bit of pressure from Matip. Back onto his feet quickly. Bowls out to the left. Tierney's in space. Powers towards the halfway line. Tierney switches it across field looking for Lacazette. And good defending from Robertson. Nips it away from the Frenchman. but his clearance isn't good. Odegaard gets the ball, but he's been robbed by Luis Diaz. Diaz tries to twist away from Odegaard. Drifts in field, does Luis Diaz, and finds the ball to Thiago. Thiago's going to head back towards his own goal. Sees the pass back to Robertson, back in his left-back position. And across it goes to Virgil van Dijk in a central area on the edge of the box. Forward ball to Fabinho, left of centre, drifting more central now though. Prods it towards Henderson, straight back to Fabinho. Now to the left for Thiago, left of centre. He's going to run into a cul-de-sac again though. Thiago, look to his right, he's gone back to his left. He's found a bit more space though, out to the left-hand side for Luis Diaz. Got Diogo Jota down the line to pass to, but goes inside to Fabinho on the halfway line. Wide on the left-hand side is Robertson, back inside to Fabinho, left of centre. Drifting left to right, passes the ball to the right of centre with Matip. He's gone back out to the left for Andy Robertson on the halfway line. Forward ball to Diogo Jota, popping up on the left wing now. Back to Robertson, pass into midfield, bounces it off Thiago. Robertson inside to Virgil van Dijk on the left-hand side of the centre circle, just inside the Liverpool half. Forward ball, left of centre to Thiago. He's going to carry that forward. Sees a lovely ball, lovely pass forward. Here's Diogo Jota bearing down on goal. Diogo Jota strikes, and he's found a gap between Aaron Ramsdale and the near post. Puts his hand to his ear to soak up the celebrations of the Liverpool fans in that corner. They've opened the scoring. It's Diogo Jota. It's 1-0. It's a lovely move. The pass through to Diogo Jota in between the fullback and centre half was absolute perfection. Aaron Ramsdale cheated a little bit, tried to give himself a bit more space to save at the far post, but Jota squeezed it in at the near one. Will be disappointed with that, Ramsdale, but he took the ball into his stride so well. It was from an acute angle from wide of the 6-yard box. Slams it with his left foot. Ramsdale can't get down in time, gets a touch on the ball, but can't push it round the post, only into the netting behind him. And Liverpool strike first in this tight contest. It's Diogo Jota, and I can tell you, I'm sure that he was about to be taken off by Jurgen Klopp, and whether that substitution still takes place remains to be seen. But those Liverpool supporters, it's been the tense atmosphere down that end in the away end of the Emirates this evening, but it's erupted now, and that's what they were expecting. And Diogo Jota, that will be his last contribution of the evening. He is going to be hauled off. It'll be Mohamed Salah that comes on in his place. And a little look to the skies from Diogo Jota. Another goal for him. He's the second top scorer for Liverpool this season. That's his 13th now. And on comes Salah and Firmino. The other man going off is Luis Diaz. So a more familiar look to that front three now, with Mane, Firmino and Salah all on the field of play. And Arsenal have work to do to get themselves back into this game. As it stands, Liverpool have closed that gap to City at the top of the table to just 1 point. Hoisted up towards the Liverpool defence by White. Returned back towards him by Van Dijk. He just lets that float over his head out of play for a throw-in just inside the Arsenal half down the right-hand side. Takes it quickly though. Throws back to Ramsdale. Takes a touch on the right-hand side of the edge of the box. He's tried to clear. He's struck that into Firmino, but the deflection is kind to Aaron Ramsdale. Deflects the ball and rolls that out to Gabriel. Looking a little shaky, Ramsdale. Gabriel trying to look for an out ball. He's one down the line. That's picked off by Alexander-Arnold, but only finds Xhaka. Forward to Lacazette. Lays it off to Partey. Partey wide to the right-hand side to Cedric. There's Saka on the halfway line. Fed the ball by Cedric, but he's under pressure. Saka back to Cedric. Inside it goes to Ben White. White clips one up. So looking for Odegaard. He's going to put Van Dijk under pressure. Continue his run towards Alisson. Odegaard still on Alisson. Alisson gets the ball forward to Matip. Matip launches clear over the halfway line. Nodded back into Liverpool territory by Kieran Tierney. Xhaka took a touch and goes down under the pressure of Joel Matip. Andre Mariner will give the free kick, and Alexandre Lacazette's making the case to Mariner. But he's had a few of those, and this is about the time you see the yellow card being produced by the referee. Haven't had too many so far in the game, or any at all, to be fair. And it's a ball down the outside looking for Lacazette, and he just wasn't alive to it. Liverpool was sleeping there. A free kick taken quickly, and they almost caught them off guard. Lacazette was just sneaking forward. It was Martinelli that saw Lacazette in a bit of space. He just opened up a bit too much room and allowed the ball to dribble through to Alisson. Salah inside to Firmino. Back up wide to Salah on the right-hand side. Liverpool quickly into Arsenal territory. Switch of play from Alexander-Arnold out to the left. Here's Robertson on the edge of the box, on the side of the box now, clipped towards the back post. Deflection, out of play, corner. last touch came off Cedric. Liverpool suddenly, after struggling to really string passes together like they're so used to, have now found their feet in this game and are absolutely flying forward. Arsenal look a little bit panicked at the moment. They need to regroup. Do the Gunners. There is Robertson, will take this corner. Swinging away from the goalkeeper towards the near post. Nodded away, drops to Salah on the edge of the box. Tries to hit it on the half volley, but it's up into the stands. Met by cheers by the Arsenal fans behind that section of the goal. Alisson is trying to direct traffic. How things could be so different if Martin Ødegaard had managed to squeeze it past Alisson, following that pass back from Thiago. And there, rather than the ball being forced past Ramsdale at the near post. Arsenal have the ball on the halfway line though. Here is Xhaka, finds Partey. Partey round the corner, diagonally out to Saka. He will give chase in front of Robertson. Keeps it in play, but not for very long. Will be a throw-in, tighter to the corner flag than Robertson wanted, but still Liverpool's possession. And just a delay in proceedings as a young boy has made his way onto the field of play. He's been quickly escorted from the pitch by the stewards at the Emirates, and the throw-in will be taken. Down the line by Robertson, flicked in field by Firmino. Thiago's given the ball away to Martinelli on the edge of the area though. Here's Martinelli, lays that back to Xhaka. Xhaka finds a ball wide to the left for Tierney. It's backwards rather than forwards. Down the line it goes for Martinelli. Inside to Xhaka again, finds Tierney once more. Inside, just in their own half, are Arsenal again with Gabriel. Back out wide to Tierney, under pressure from Salah. Forces the ball back to Ramsdale. Takes a touch left of centre on just a few yards outside of his 18-yard box. Gabriel to White. White forward to Partey, beats the press. Out to the right-hand side for Ødegaard. He'll drive forward. Here are Arsenal on the attack. So his progress is checked on the halfway line. Feeds it to Gabriel, encouraged to join in. Left-footed ball over the top, looking for Martinelli. Takes a touch inside Alexander-Arnold. Lovely ball as well. Lovely touch, but the flag does go up finally after a little delay. Once again, Martinelli. His touch was exquisite. Flicked it infield. Alexander-Arnold in one fluid motion beat him. Just needs to be able to beat the offside trap. And Arsenal are on the front foot there. 60 minutes on the clock. It's Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Alexander-Arnold will take the resulting free kick from the offside. These are the two most informed teams in the Premier League. Long ball forward from Alexander-Arnold. Only Liverpool have won more points than Arsenal in the last 6 games. And there will be a throw down the right-hand side. It came off Gabriel last. It's worked its way back to Alexander-Arnold now. Just a little bit forward from the technical areas. Down the line for Salah. Infield to Firmino. Gabriel's lost it to Firmino. Firmino heading towards the byline. Firmino still cuts it back. There's Thiago on the penalty spot. There's Salah. Deflection. Gabriel gets in the way, gets it clear. It's broken here to Andy Robertson. Good block there from Saka from the effort from distance for Robertson. Saka tries to get it clear. Comes off Robertson. Still in play. Still going. Liverpool up towards the byline. There's Firmino. Lovely touch in front of Ramsdale. It's 2 for Liverpool now. The change has come off for Jurgen Klopp. They were persistent there. It was all persistence from Liverpool. Firmino's celebrating with the crowd. There'll be a yellow card forthcoming, I'm sure, but Roberto Firmino doesn't seem to care about that. Liverpool's lead has doubled in the matter of minutes. Firmino, delicate touch, delicate finish just in front of Ramsdale. The work was all Robertson, though. Salah flicked it infield for Firmino. It was back to Gabriel. He was closed down on the corner of the box. Firmino got the ball, headed towards the byline, cut it back, saw Thiago on the penalty spot, took a touch. Salah picked it off his toes, struck at goal, blocked away. Arsenal thought the danger had gone when Saka got the block in on Robertson. Saka looked downfield, tried to keep it in play rather than get rid of the ball, clear the danger. Robertson broke towards the byline, his cutback into the near post. Firmino was there in front of Ramsdale. It was a lovely finish. Just a caress into the opposite bottom corner. Just took all the pace off the ball underneath the body of Aaron Ramsdale. And after so much good work, Arsenal have been undone by a couple of moments of quality from Liverpool. And how many times have you heard that in Liverpool games this season? And a really bitter pill to swallow for the Gunners and their supporters. And Robertson will have a throw-in to take. It's Roberto Firmino's 9th goal against Arsenal. They're his favourite opposition. He hasn't scored more against any other side. Was booked for his celebration. There's Fabinho. Picks up the throw-in, but he's been robbed by Odegaard. Cedric infield to Partey. Partey lays it back to Gabriel. Clips it up towards the right-hand side onto the boot of Cedric. Hooks that downfield looking for Saka. Robertson will get this clear up to the halfway line, only as far as Ben White. Nods that into the chest of Odegaard. Lays this off to Partey, back to Odegaard. Odegaard trying to run through the tackles, but he's lost out to a good crunching one from Thiago. Long ball forward. And Ramsdale came out to meet Salah before he got there, and the ball off the head of Alexander-Arnold, but Martinelli battles for it. Came off Jordan Henderson last in front of the Liverpool dugout. Jurgen Klopp vociferously shouting at Andre Mariner, thrown in by Tierney, with the German talking rapidly and loud next to him. It's on the right-hand side with Saka, infield to Cedric Suarez. He's under a lot of pressure. Liverpool's press is high and intense. Then White feeds it back to Ramsdale inside the 18-yard box. Square pass to Gabriel to his left. Poked out to the left-hand side for Kieran Tierney. Infield it goes now to Xhaka. Xhaka lays that off to Gabriel. Gabriel over the top, looking for an out ball. Finds one to Martinelli. Comes off the head of Matip into the midfield. Odegaard challenged with Fabinho, but Fabinho came away with it. And here's Mane, drifting from right to left, evades the tackle of Odegaard and the tackle of Cedric Suarez. He's on the touchline now, running at Cedric Suarez. Saka's there to try and help his fullback. Came off Suarez last, almost went out of play for a corner, but Saka keeps it in play, and keeps it in play from a throw-in too. Back to Cedric, infield to Ben White, inside his own box. Right-footed ball out to the left-hand side, looking for Martinelli. Takes it down off the thigh and drifts infield. He's going to run past Henderson here. Still Martinelli in possession of the ball. Simple pass to Xhaka, first time back to Gabriel. He wants the play to be moving quickly, not too much movement in front of him. There's Ben White, up to the right-hand side. Another quizzical gesture from White towards his midfield colleagues. Forward ball to Xhaka. Xhaka chips one towards the right-hand side. That's straight onto the head of Robertson. Forward ball to Mane is cut out by Cedric Suarez, but his clearance is headed down into midfield by Van Dijk. Here's Fabinho to the left-hand side for Thiago. Down the left-hand touchline for Robertson. Back to Thiago. Infield to Fabinho, left of centre. Thiago will lift it to the right-hand side for Matip. 12 yards shy of the halfway line. Here goes square to Virgil van Dijk. It's once again down the left-hand touchline with Thiago. Just in field now. Right of centre. The pass is across to Matip. Matip driving forward down the right-hand side. He's got Alexander-Arnold just outside him. Feeds him the ball. Alexander-Arnold, right-footed pass back to Henderson. Under pressure from Lacazette. Goes inside to Van Dijk. Arsenal try and press, but Liverpool's so good at playing through that. Thiago over the top. Looking for the run of Salah. Will he keep it in play? He does. He gets there very quickly. Salah onto his left foot, running at Tierney. Salah into the box. Salah to the back post, and it's over, everyone. Thiago and Firmino made the same run towards the near post. There was no one at the back post. An Arsenal body who just ducked underneath it. And there will be a good moment here for Arsenal fans to savour. They may be 2-0 down, but Martin Odegaard will come off. And Emile Smith-Rowe returns to action for the Gunners. He comes running back onto the field of play. So one of their brightest sparks, the young man. And he's going to come on for Martin Odegaard as Mikel Arteta desperately tries to get back into this game. Arteta hasn't moved from the edge of his technical area all evening. Started there in the beginning of the first half and still there now. The long clearance out to the right-hand side from Ramsdale, just slightly mishit out of play for a throw-in. A few yards into Liverpool territory down their left-hand side. Robertson has the ball in his hands, ready to throw it back into play. Thiago is square. Down the line is Mane. Drifting from the front is Firmino. He was the recipient. Tried to play it back to Robertson. The pass mislaid. Out of play for an Arsenal throw just inside Liverpool territory down their right-hand side. Cedric Suarez will be the man to take for the Gunners. He's looking for movement. Goes square across the midfield to Partey. Poked back out wide to Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe tries to find a ball forward. Partey's picked up the deflected clearance. It's now with Cedric drifting from right to left. towards the centre circle, lays this back to Tierney on the left-hand side. Down the line it goes for Martinelli, up against Alexander-Arnold. This is where they've had their most of their joy, Arsenal. Here's Martinelli in a central area, lifted out to the right-hand side, deflection on the way through. Firmino takes it down. There's Mane, picks up the forward pass. White goes sliding in desperately, steers it back to Ramsdale. From around halfway, forward ball to Partey, laid off to Ben White. Out on the right-hand side with Cedric, midway through the Arsenal half. Back to White and forward to Partey in the centre of midfield. Clips it to the left-hand side. Tierney runs onto the ball, takes it down well into his stride. Left-footed ball down the touchline for Martinelli. Martinelli now drifting in field once again. Feeds the ball to Xhaka, turns back to the halfway line. Finds a ball to Ben White in the centre circle. On the right-hand side is Cedric Suarez, tight to the touchline. Ball down the line for Saka. Smith Rowe's inside him. Pokes it down the line for Smith Rowe. He's taken the ball in his stride, heading towards the corner flag, turning back towards halfway. Ball round the corner for Saka. Saka up to the byline. Saka cuts it back inside. Matip gets the ball. It's broken to Smith Rowe. Strikes and blocked away by Matip. And then Robertson gets it clear, out of play for a throw-in. Smith Rowe is already showing his worth to Arsenal. He's only been on the field a couple of minutes. That pass round the corner for Saka was a really good one. The cut back towards the near post almost found Lacazette. Matip with one challenge and then another. And there'll be a throw-in for Arsenal here. Thrown backwards to Gabriel. He's into Liverpool territory. Left-footed ball towards the left-hand side for Martinelli. Can't take it down the first time, but does with a second bite of the cherry. So onto his right, drifts it back to Kieran Tierney. Salah comes back to marshal him. Infield to Xhaka in a central position. Xhaka's being forced backwards though. Finds Gabriel. Gabriel wants Martinelli streaking down the touchline. Square pass to Xhaka instead. In the centre of the centre circle is Ben White. Towards the right-hand side it goes to Cedric Suarez. Cedric lifts one towards the left-hand side onto the head of Tierney. Nods that forward but picked off by Alexander-Arnold. The pass into midfield is loose though. Partey collects for Arsenal. Xhaka fires it into the feet of Martinelli. Almost skips past Matip. Prods that forward and Alexander-Arnold gets it clear. Onto the boot of Salah, who's forced that to the left-hand side. Firmino goes down under the challenge of Partey, who hasn't gone down. He's plucked at his face, and Andre Mariner's decided that's a foul. Much to the frustrations of Thomas Partey and Mikel Arteta. If looks could kill. It's a little Cruyff turn from Firmino. He went to run past Partey. Partey was trying to change his momentum. Arm out to the left-hand side. The face of Roberto Firmino collided with the elbow of Thomas Partey. It's back with Matip on the right of that centre-back duo. Now left to Virgil van Dijk. They're halfway through their own territory. Out to the right-hand side for Alexander-Arnold. Arteta waving his men forward to put the Liverpool back line under a bit more pressure. 70 minutes on the clock. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 2. Here's Van Dijk on the corner of the 18-yard box. Prods that forward to Thiago. It's a good little bit of trickery. Gets him past Emile Smith-Rowe, but he's staying with him. Forward ball. It's into midfield. There is Mane. Now Firmino on the edge of the area. Mane up towards the edge of the box. Out wide to the right-hand side for Salah. Salah runs it on now to Jordan Henderson, heading towards the corner flag. Back into the feet of Salah. Level with the edge of the box. Tight to the touchline though. Still Salah. Infield the ball goes now to Matip. Matip skips past the challenge of Smith Rowe. Still Matip. Bundles the ball forward. It's Firmino in the edge of the box, and Partey's won it back for Arsenal. And he's been hauled to the ground by Roberto Firmino. And that was a poor challenge from the Brazilian. And that will be a free kick for Arsenal on the edge of the box. Still time for the Gunners, but it's ticking away ever so quickly. Here's Ben White carrying the ball forward. Out of defence, but no pass is forthcoming. Finds one to Smith Rowe. Partey clips it past the challenge of Thiago and then feeds it back to Cedric. He's gone back to Ben White once again. White forward to Lacazette. Lacazette holding off Fabinho. That's it's basically a rugby challenge. Fabinho had a hold of him, hauled him to the ground, dragged him to the deck, did Fabinho, and he's being waved over by Andre Mariner. Lacazette's having a word with the referee. I'm not sure why that's not a yellow card. Seemed to be the very definition of what we used to call a professional foul. Arsenal will have a free kick right of centre. Ben White goes square to Gabriel. Gabriel will turn and give it back to Ramsdale. Just outside the D on the edge of his box. Long ball out to the right-hand side, looking for Saka. Saka holding off Robertson well. Skipped off the turf, struck the hand of Bukayo Saka. And that'll be a free kick for Liverpool down their left-hand side. Just 20 yards or so away from the halfway line. Taken by Virgil van Dijk. Back out to the left. Back inside to Van Dijk. Now once again Robertson. Robertson, forward ball into midfield for Sadio Mane. Ben White tries to win the ball from him. Mane down on the deck, appeals for a free kick. Nothing given by Andre Mariner. Partey carries it away. Left-footed ball out to the left-hand side for Martinelli. He's in acres of space here. Alexander-Arnold desperately trying to get back into position. Martinelli still into the box now. Martinelli just too much. Carried it for too long. Alexander-Arnold gets the high fives from Jordan Henderson and his teammates, but didn't really do much there for defensively. Martinelli's feet just skipped away from him as he found the byline. And Joel Matip with a little look at Gabriel Martinelli, who's on the deck past the byline. And there will be another change here for Arsenal. It'll be Nicolas Pepe, second of the evening for Mikel Arteta. Bukayo Saka withdrawn, Pepe on. And I want to still not giving up hopes of taking all 3 points from this game, Mikel Arteta's side. It's an attacking move. Got around 16 minutes left on the clock. If Arsenal are going to claw their way back into contention in this match, it has to be soon. They have to take an opportunity. Alisson, long out to the left-hand side. Then White heads on the halfway line. Flicked on by Cedric Suarez. Will it drop to Pepe? He's battling for it with Fabinho. Came off to him last, and there will be a throw-in down the right-hand side. Suarez is up from full-back to take it. Emile Smith throw, spins away from Fabinho. It goes inside, though, to Lacazette, off the chest. Lays this off to Partey. Partey prods towards Xhaka. Central area, 35, 40 yards from goal. Shifted to the right-hand side for Suarez. In comes the ball towards the heads. Matip heads in front of Alisson. So Henderson tried to get underneath it, but Xhaka was there and caught Henderson at the same time. There is the offside flag. Not sure who that was shown on. But, we shall see on the replay. Henderson's back on his feet. And the ball came in. It was Nicolas Pepe in the middle who jumped for the ball with Joel Matip in front of Alisson. And the offside flag did come eventually. Here is Virgil van Dijk inside his own box. Crossfield ball left to right. Finds Salah. First time ball back to him from Henderson. Salah's on the halfway line fighting with Xhaka for the ball. And Xhaka's down on the deck, and Mohamed Salah got away from him. Didn't go down, but the foul was eventually given on Salah. It's right of centre. Right on the halfway line. Another chance for Liverpool to test this Arsenal defence. It's on short though. Van Dijk on left of centre. Ball to Robertson. And again to Robertson after he returned him the ball. Robertson drifts down the touchline. Mane drops in behind him to collect. And plays it back to Virgil van Dijk. Across midfield to Joel Matip. Back to Van Dijk. Takes a touch with his left onto his right foot in the centre circle. Drills one forward. Alexander-Arnold gets a touch on it. Tries to flick it out to Henderson. Martinelli's in his way though. Collects that ball. Cuts it out and heads towards the byline. Finally does get it clear. Thrown only onto the head of Matip. Fed wide to the right hand side by Fabinho. Firmino forward to Henderson. Henderson wide to Alexander-Arnold. Tries to run it down the touchline, but blocked out of play by Kieran Tierney. That'll be a throw in, and the fullback will take it. Jurgen Klopp looks on as the ball is thrown down the line towards the corner flag. Salah plays it back down the line and finds the shins of Martinelli. Another Liverpool throw forthcoming. It's on a little bit further forward. Arsenal just lost a bit of momentum now. And that came off of Martinelli again after the throw-in was taken for a corner kick. Alexander-Arnold waits patiently at the corner flag. Good chance to get this into the box. And try and find the head of Virgil van Dijk or Joel Matip. Plenty of height in the box to aim for. Salah's taken up residence just shy of the penalty spot. Virgil van Dijk deep in conversation with his teammates. A smile on his face too, nice to see. In comes the corner kick, swinging away towards the back post. Headed down by Van Dijk, but launched clear by Gabriel. Pepe's underneath it. So flicked out to the right hand side for Tierney. Long ball forward looking for Lacazette. Thiago's missed his clearance, but Firmino was tracking back and collects the ball for Liverpool. Forward to Alexander-Arnold, lays this back to Thiago. Once again, Thiago in possession. Inside to Fabinho. Fabinho 6 yards to his left is Van Dijk. Now Matip, right of centre. Down the right-hand touchline for Alexander-Arnold. In field to Firmino. Loose touch allows Lacazette to nip it forward, but Alexander-Arnold prods that towards the strikers. Picked up in midfield by Partey. Spread by Xhaka. Sliding challenge from Cedric in front of Andy Robertson. Robertson's touch was loose, out of play for a throw into Arsenal down the right-hand side. So just out of the box, it's thrown into Partey. Partey square to Xhaka. Laid back to Gabriel. Gabriel on the edge of his own area. Central position. Finds a ball forward to Partey. Partey fakes one way, then uses the additional space to go to the right to Cedric. Cedric in field to Gabriel on the edge of his box. Gabriel takes a touch with his left. He's heading towards the left-hand side and beat it to Tierney down that left-hand touchline. Long ball forward, looking over the top. Flicked in field by Gabriel Martinelli, but once again the flag goes up for offside. Just in front of Joel Matip. And a free kick taken quickly back to the goalkeeper. Fabinho back to Van Dijk. All of this on the edge of the Liverpool box. Matip will turn this back to Alisson to the right of his 6-yard area. Nudges that forward towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Long ball downfield. Finds Salah. His pass in field is loose though. Picked off by Gabriel. Laid back to Ben White. Forward ball to Partey. Back to White. And he's been robbed quite easily. Pass was a hospital one from Partey. Here's Salah into the box. Salah tries to open up his body and curl it to the far post. Cleared by Cedric, but it's back to Salah on the right-hand side. Here is Henderson. Henderson to Thiago on the edge of the area. Now Alexander-Arnold out to the right for Henderson. Now Salah again. Salah up against Tierney. Henderson tries to take Tierney away from him. Back to Alexander-Arnold. Infield to Fabinho. Fabinho lays back to Matip. Liverpool are resetting here. Van Dijk out to the left-hand side to Robertson. Robertson bursting forward. There's a cross towards the back post. That's over everyone. Well, bounce once, twice, 3 times. Dribbled all the way out of play on the far side for a throw into Arsenal tight to the corner flag down their left. Real gut punch for Arsenal. They make another change here. Lacazette will depart. Eddie Nketiah, the man to replace the Arsenal captain. We'll let you know who's the man in possession of the armband shortly. But a bit of youth, exuberance on with 10 minutes left in the game. Arsenal's time really running out, and it was a gut check to them. They played so well in that first half, but just a couple of moments, flashes from Liverpool. And they're staring at a 2-goal deficit. Going down the line, Eddie Nketiah with a first touch, nodded in field to Martinelli. So picked up by Henderson. Henderson prods that towards Salah. He's got the ball despite the attentions of Tierney and Gabriel, who are close to him and trying to win the ball back. And Salah finally does give the ball away. Just can't keep control on the touchline. Out of play for an Arsenal throw. Tierney's in possession of the ball already. Throws forward to Xhaka. Back to Tierney. Loops it up and looking for the head of Nketiah. Doesn't get a touch on it. He'll drop to Matip. His clearance strikes Nketiah. Out of play for a Liverpool throw now. Mikel Arteta rolls it down the line for Alexander-Arnold to take. As the ball above his head does the number 66 for Liverpool. Arteta trying to get his side to gee themselves up a little bit. Bit of head tennis. Left of centre now, dropping to Firmino on the right-hand touchline. Out to Salah. Tries to force it back to Firmino. Blocked away by Tierney. Drops to Alexander-Arnold on the halfway line. Square across to Van Dijk, who's just received the ball back from Robertson. Left of centre. Forward ball to Fabinho in the centre circle. Back to Van Dijk, who steers this back to Alisson. Less than 10 minutes left now of this game. Matip back to Alisson again. Out to the left for Virgil van Dijk. Pepe presses. Long ball forward from Van Dijk. Finds Mane, does it? No. Prodded forward by White. Partey distributes to his right for Cedric. Now down the line for Pepe. Pepe infield to Smith Rowe. Pepe runs into the back of Fabinho. Looking for a foul. Nothing given by Andre Mariner. Right decision too. And Liverpool will try and work this clear. Good passing out of defence, and Thiago carries it clear, but his touch is loose. Slid in on Thomas Partey there. Andre Mariner, nothing given. Ball over the top for Pepe to chase towards the corner flag. Out of play off Andy Robertson. VAR will have a look at this, I'm sure. He did look to be stretching and potentially out of control. Thiago Alcantara. Thomas Partey clutching at his ankle for a long time. And Jurgen Klopp does look a little concerned on the bench at the moment. I'd like to see a replay of that, but the ball has been thrown into play to Pepe. Now Cedric takes over again. Spins away from Firmino. Lays that back down the line. It's into the feet of Gabriel now. Right of centre, into the Liverpool half. Lifted out to the left-hand side for Martinelli. Takes it down well, now runs at Alexander-Arnold. Onto his right foot, his feet give way again, but he's maintained possession regardless, Gabriel Martinelli. Infield, he was looking for Xhaka. Good sliding tackle as Salah threatened to burst away with the ball. He went wide to the left-hand side to Tierney. Back inside to Gabriel, now White in the centre circle. Out to the right-hand side for Cedric Suarez. Carries it over the halfway line. Forward ball into the feet of Pepe. Now Smith Rowe. Back to Pepe. Lays that back to Cedric. It's with Ben White now. Just shy of the centre circle in his own half is Gabriel. Right of centre is Ben White. Now on the right-hand touchline, Cedric Suarez. Still not in Liverpool territory. Into the feet of Gabriel. Gabriel shifts it left and then right, then back to the left. Forward ball to Partey. He's been robbed, has he? He manages to get the ball back just before Mane latches onto the pass. It's White to the right-hand side to Cedric. Down the line for Smith Rowe. Back to Cedric. Cedric drifting infield now, looking for a pass. It's wide to Emile Smith Rowe, midway through his own half. Inside to Ben White. There's the cross-field ball, looking for Martinelli. Takes it down with his right, drifts infield, finds the ball to Xhaka. Xhaka steps over it, gives himself a bit of space to release it to Ben White, up to the halfway line now. White over the top, looking for Smith Rowe. Virgil van Dijk climbs well and heads that down to Robertson. Forward ball to Firmino. Firmino turns, feeds it back to Robertson. Bursting over the halfway line goes the fullback. Still Andy Robertson. Drifting infield now. Lifts it towards Salah. Picked off by Kieran Tierney. Good placement by the defender. Forward ball to Xhaka. Xhaka feeds White. White to Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe turns away from Firmino. Down the right-hand side goes Smith Rowe. Gives it to Pepe. It's Nketiah now on the right-hand side. Forward ball to Pepe down the touchline. Pepe up against Virgil van Dijk. Pepe onto his left foot. Into the feet of Smith Rowe. ...25 yards out, tries to... Just when Arsenal were looking to show that irrepressible attacking force, it was lifted over the top of Martinelli, and the pressure was let off in an instant. Alexander-Arnold will have a... Alexander-Arnold throws down the line. It's onto the chest of Gabriel. Xhaka lifted in field though to Cedric. Stooping low to head it towards Thomas Partey. Liverpool have picked it up, but only temporarily. Mane looked to threaten to break away with it. Xhaka's on the left-hand side. Xhaka in field to Partey. That pass is picked off by Thiago, but Xhaka makes amends by robbing Thiago of it. White spreads it wide to the right-hand side to Pepe. Pepe will carry it over the halfway line. Up against Firmino at the moment. Drifts in field onto his left foot. Leaves that back to White. White is on the halfway line, right of centre. Just turns away from Thiago side to Gabriel. Now Kieran Tierney. Tierney to the right for White. Central area is Gabriel, midway through the Arsenal half. Onto his left foot, out to the left-hand side for Tierney. Struggling to get out here. Long ball forward. Wide to Pepe on the right-hand touchline. The Emirates has started to empty out now. Prodded towards Cedric in a central area, right of centre. He's been fouled by Mane. Set piece opportunity for Arsenal here. With 3.5 minutes left of the 90. Thiago standing right on the ball. Talking to Cedric Suarez. He's being asked to move away by Andre Mariner eventually. Knew what he was doing, just trying to slow the play down, Thiago Alcantara. And it'll be Cedric Suarez to take this free kick. Not too much to aim for in the box. Gabriel and Ben White are at the back post. Martinelli are really on the far side. Now Smith throws an option down the line. It's in towards Gabriel. Nodded up, but not too far away by Van Dijk. Headed down by Alexander-Arnold. Jack has picked up that pass. Backwards to Tierney. Beats Salah to it. Outside of the boot, ball from Xhaka to the right-hand side. Here is Emile Smith Rowe, drifting in field, finds Partey. Now Xhaka onto his left, feeds it to Martinelli. Martinelli strikes, looking for the bottom corner, narrowly wide. That was the chance. Ran past the ball, tried to curl it into the opposite It was inches past that post. And that's surely the game for Arsenal. Martinelli's chance. Start to ripple. Long ball forward, looking for Pepe down the right-hand side, met by Van Dijk. Nods that to Fabinho on the halfway line. Andy Robertson plays it down the line to Mane. He's taken control in front of White. That's a clumsy challenge from the former Brighton man. And it's going to be a free kick down the left, and Ben White looks frustrated. He's gesturing at Andre Mariner. And Liverpool will make another change. Curtis Jones stripped off and ready to come on. Thiago Alcantara is the man that will depart. He's going to jog from the far side to the dugouts. He's getting high fives on the route. Not his best performance, you have to say, in Liverpool shirt. Almost gave Arsenal the golden opportunity to score. But for the heroics of Alisson, wonderful save from the goalkeeper. Thiago will be buying him a drink in the bar afterwards. He's been replaced by the young Englishman, Curtis Jones, wearing the number 17 for Liverpool. Thiago still not off the field. Could have been so different tonight for Arsenal. They had their chances, at least that one that we just spoke about, given to them by Thiago. And then just a moment ago, Gabriel Martinelli could have given them a glimmer of hope in the dying embers of this game. Robertson plays the ball forward to Mane. Back to Robertson down the touchline. Goes inside to Fabinho. Back out wide to Mane. Mane will play this all the way back to the goalkeeper Alisson. He's under pressure from Nketiah, giving chase. First time ball onto the chest of Curtis Jones. Pepe picks up the loose touch. Partey in the midfield. He needed a shout there from his teammates as Firmino nipped in from behind and won the ball. Firmino carrying it forward. Finds Mane. There's Xhaka mopping up for Arsenal though. Square to Gabriel. Forward ball to Eddie Nketiah on the halfway line. Wide to the left-hand side. Left of centre is Xhaka. Xhaka drifts inside. Finds the ball back to Ben White instead. We've reached the 90-minute mark now. So Ben White plays to the right-hand side for Cedric. On the halfway line, the fullback. There'll be 3 minutes of time added on at the end of this game. Inside to Gabriel. Into the centre circle. Inside his own half of the field. Back to the right for Ben White. Spins past Mane. Leaves him on the floor as he tumbles to the deck. There's Cedric Suarez carrying the ball over halfway. Tries to find a pass forward. Fabinho slid in. Bellows at Cedric Suarez. Won the ball well there. Out of play for an Arsenal throw down the right-hand side, tight to the halfway line. Joel Matip has been given man of the match by the sponsors this evening. Has been rock solid at the back. It's thrown backwards to Ben White. Infield to Gabriel. Left-footed ball forward, a long one. Pepe will give chase down the right-hand side and get there. Keeps it in play. Pepe drifting towards the box, onto his left foot. Now to the edge of the box, central area. Finds Partey. Partey to Kieran Tierney on the left-hand side now. Down the line for Martinelli. Running at Alexander-Arnold again. Henderson's covering though. There's a ball to Xhaka. Tries to clip it to the back post. Alisson comes steaming out. Catches well. And you can see Arsenal going through the motions now. The Emirates Stadium is less than half full. And it's a disappointing end to what's been a really bright run by Arsenal. Volleyed long. Gabriel, long ball forward, looking down the left-hand side. Martinelli will give chase. Alexander-Arnold is there, but Martinelli gets there first. Close to the corner flag are the pair. So won the throw-in from Alexander-Arnold. Takes it quickly to Kieran Tierney. Lays this back to Gabriel. Gabriel infield to Partey. Central area midway through the Liverpool half. Back out wide to Kieran Tierney. Inside it goes, looking for Nketiah. Picked off well by Henderson. Cleared by Alexander-Arnold. Salah lays off to Firmino. Firmino bursts forward. Back to Salah. Salah infield. Looking for Mane. Just behind him, and Cedric Suarez can prod that forward into midfield. Here is Partey. Out to the left-hand side for Kieran Tierney. Less than a minute left of the added-on time. Here is Gabriel Martinelli. Driving to the corner of the box. He's got Alexander-Arnold, but that's good defending from Alexander-Arnold. Puts his body between Martinelli and the ball, and Henderson carries it clear. Nketiah biting back at him. Deflects off of him. The Arsenal number 30 out of play for a throw to Liverpool down their right-hand side. And we're at walking. 30 seconds or so left of the game. Mikel Arteta dismissively throws that ball back to Alexander-Arnold. Such a disappointed, dejected figure this evening. Mikel Arteta. The side showed so much promise. Alexander-Arnold throws down the line, met by Tierney, tries to get it clear. Henderson picks the ball up, comes off of Gabriel. In field from Firmino. Can Liverpool pile on the pain here? There's Salah, there's Mane forward to Salah. So picked off by Tierney, good defending in the end. Cleared out of play, off on the far side. That's the final action of the game. Whistle is blown. Liverpool have closed the gap at the top of the Premier League to just 1 point. The Premier League title race is well and truly alive and on. There were just a couple of moments of brilliance from Liverpool's enviable attacking riches. Jota opened the scoring just before going off. He squeezed the ball in at the near post past Aaron Ramsdale, who will be disappointed he couldn't do better from the chance. That came just moments after Thiago almost gave Arsenal the lead with a pass back, which was picked off by Lacazette, laid into the feet of Odegaard, and beautifully saved by Alisson. And then just 8 minutes after Jota's opener, Firmino with a lovely delicate finish in front of Ramsdale after persistent play from Andy Robertson. Means that Liverpool records 2 on the night. They've gone 9 games, which they've won every single one of. They're really finding form at the right time of the season. And high fives from Jurgen Klopp to his players and the opposition. Mikel Arteta, let's see, lonely figure. Still in their hands, though, to qualify for the Champions League. As we said, going into this game, they've got 3 games